best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game, tripping guys, shenanigans. And, Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If, somebody has got to see that, and that, he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from, anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye.
Oh, man, it is a goodbye.
But the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blown his horn.
What a game. Well, we say good morning to everybody as we say, boy, this is a weird one, April 15th. April 15th, and the Panthers season will be over tonight. And this Heat season was over last night after what took place. So that was a rough one, man. But a great game, I will tell you. If you're going to go out with a bang, and if you could, I say this sometimes, I seem to say it more here in South Florida than they do in other places. I'll tell you what, and my dad always says this to me out in California, he watches everything, and he'll call, we'll talk this morning, and he's going to tell me what a hell of a game it was. Boy, I enjoyed that. And if you're not a Heat fan and you just watched it, or hell, even if you're a Heat fan, that was one hell of a game. It really was. And I know we're getting into the Bam Adebayo stuff. Listen, it was a cheap play by LaMelo Ball, no question about it. We'll get in, and whether you want him thrown in jail or suspended or getting a fine. He didn't get anything last night, but he will get something from the league. Once they review it, I'm sure they saw it last night and everything else. But what a hell of a game. Wiggins and Davion Mitchell and Hero. And by the way, end of regulation was phenomenal plays by both teams. And then the Heat got down, were able to come back. Tyler Hero hits a 3 and makes 3 free throws. You're going, hey, they're going to win this. And they had a little bit of a lead, and then it just went back and forth. It was just incredible. And some of the shots that were made, some of the defensive plays, I got to tell you, and Khalil Ware just gave us the biggest tease. Like, where was that energy and that effort? And it was, hey, whatever. You want to call it a semi-playoff game, whatever. It's a game for a game to get to the playoffs or get closer to the playoffs. And this play-in thing they've added to get some more teams and more NBA cities not checking out on the season. And one's down here and one was up in Charlotte, and they were crazy. The fans were really into it. And hey, man, we need 2 wins, and we get a chance to play Detroit and the whole thing. So just wild stuff. You second guess, the second guess is as good as Tyler Hero was making the 3 and knock just smooth, man. Knocked him down, and you looked at his face on TV, and that dude was going to make all 3 of those free throws. That was big time stuff. But I wonder about the shot that he takes. Just had plenty of time and just kind of went side to side, and you could tell like he'd already made up his mind. He was going to, instead of trying to get a little closer to the basket, takes a long 3, man. It wasn't close.
Yeah, with a tie game.
Right.
Game. I mean, all you need is a 2, make the officials make a call there, go to the basket, do something. But yeah, I mean, that's the NBA though, man. You got to heave up a 3, right?
Oh no, listen, one team took 56 threes last time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think the most egregious play, though, Joe, is the final sequence there. And, I mean, Stan said it 50 times on the broadcast. They got a foul to give. They got to be smarter. They got a foul to give. And Jaime Jaquez overruns the play, over pursues,
and then
on the slowest player maybe in the history of basketball.
Well, I don't know about slowest guy, and that was your first exaggeration.
Well, they can't even leave
him,
Joe. They can't leave him in the game late because he can't play defense, this LaMelo Ball. But
LaMelo Ball he was going to the basket. And by the way, he did a lot last night. He got fouled. He made some.
Yeah, but you can't overrun that play if you're Jaime.
I think he was scared to death.
That.
I think he was scared to death to.
He acted like he was
afraid to foul late, and he was afraid they were going to call it, and then the guy makes it and won and all those things. But you're right. Listen, that can't happen, and so he gets that shot, and then you go down the other end, and Davion Mitchell went to the basket. He did. He's aggressive. He had a great game. Hell, he might have had his best game of the season. Some of the shots he made for 28 points in that game, and those guys go, you play below the rim, we're going to pack that shot against that backboard. It ain't going to happen. So that ended the game. But what a wild one, man. A lot of stuff to get to now that the season's over, and we'll talk more about this game and plays that stick. And one thing about watching these games, there's always a play or two that kind of, sticks to your brain when you're watching it. And by the way, if you didn't see it, it was a 127-126 overtime loss for the Heat, and it truly was an unbelievable game in regulation, the last minute of that thing, as well as the last few seconds of overtime. Just give you plenty to talk about with that first coffee this morning as you're getting up. And if you didn't see it, I would do more than just watch the highlights. And, people are going to want to see, if you didn't stay up, to watch the Bam injury and take a look at that. Listen, it was a cheap shot. It was cheap. And by the way, he grabs his leg, which, he can't get his balance, and he comes down hard on the funny bone back there and the back, and he doesn't come back in. So you do lose he doesn't play second half at all. He's out. They rule him out. And so that, of course, LaMelo Ball did the apology after the game, but it was a hell of a game. I mean, from that, they didn't sit and go, well, we just lost our best player defensively and guy that, gives us a chance to, do a lot of things in the paint, and, well, he's out. They played their ass off. And again, I'll tell you, the center, Kel'el Ware, 12 points and 19 rebounds and 5 blocks. Some of those blocks, well, he jumped up on one and just caught it. Like, are you really going to shoot this? Are you really coming to the basket and going to shoot this? And by the way, he was getting out, running, made some nice passes. I'm telling you, that was the energy level, the Heat, and those guys have played, man. It's like, I can't really get mad. That's the best that group can play. I mean, you may like a few things. You might like a better shot here or there. You might do some things different defensively, although they've had their problems defensively with certain players and things. And then, hey, Hero had, I think, 7 points in the first half, comes back and hits some clutch shots. They're down 6, and you're going, wow, this thing's over. And he hits a 3 in a corner, ridiculous fadeaway shot in the corner, almost going out of bounds. Then he comes back, and after a turnover, and he gets fouled on another one, and he gets up there and knocks 3 free throws down on the road, man.
Yeah,
with the play screaming.
It was an inspired effort. There's no question, Joe, but it's too little, too late, right?
Well,
you needed that during the season, and unfortunately, you can't just kind of save it for the elimination game. And a lot of balls and bounce their way. I mean, that Kobe White hits that ridiculous shot to tie the game.
Well, listen, if there's one thing that sticks to you, that taking that and catching it and a fadeaway while he's catching it, and hits nothing but the bottom of the net on that shot was just.
That's what happens when you put it. You go to these play-in games and roll the dice on one game. And
well, it was a hell of a game.
An inspired effort, no question.
It was.
But
And so here's the thing, and it is amazing, and we say this all the time. Why can't you play like that in the regular season? And people, 82 games, you can't get up all the time. Well, I got to tell you, you didn't have to tell those teams what they were playing for last night. There were some guys that were getting after it because they wanted to get to the playoffs, and they know that wasn't the playoffs, but that was their playoffs. And, listen, it's not successful to win a play-in game when you're 9-10. You want to win both and get to the playoffs, actual playoffs where one plays 8 and win some games and obviously try to pull the big upset, which is going to be a long shot for that team. By the way, it would have been for both teams if they did end up winning both these games and ended up playing Detroit in the first round of the playoffs. But man, it was a hell of a game. I got to tell you, you stayed up, you probably had trouble getting to sleep right away. And if you get a chance, I'd recommend you go to the internet and watch it, because watch the highlights, because it was wild. And a lot of guys made a lot of really good plays in that game. And again, if you're not, Wiggins had a real nice game for himself with 27, and man, he's ended up being a really good 3-point shooter. Davion Mitchell, 28 points, and Hero.
He had a hell of a game.
Hero
Mitchell.
had, Mitchell knocked down some.
He played really well.
He had a little strut, a little junk to him, man, going up down the court. He was good last night.
So the sentiment I got from seeing a lot of people talking about this game last night, and our buddies were talking, it's like the old school playoffs, someone would have put LaMelo Ball in his ass for doing that, right? I know I guess you can't do that kind of stuff anymore, but I would have loved to have seen the Heat go deep into the bench. You just find someone to go out there and just take his legs out.
Knock him down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought for
the play
a
on
second,
Bam, and he after the game says he hit his head and didn't know where he was. That was his excuse.
That was weak.
Yeah, he's a bum. I mean, he cries the entire game, but to do that, to rip a guy's leg out while he's on one leg.
No, he grabbed his leg.
Bam's a big guy, man, falling back on the back like that.
He caught him just at the right position where
he swept
he
the
couldn't
leg right
control
out.
it and came down, lower back. And
you think he gets suspended for the next game? They got to play another play-in game.
I
don't see how the league doesn't suspend him.
I'm gonna guess they fine him whatever they can fine him, but I don't know. I don't know, Woody. I truly don't know,
because it's a national TV game.
I don't
take the stars
know.
away.
And listen, LaMelo Ball's good for that team, and he's playing a lot of confidence, and hey, made a lot of. He takes downtown threes, and when he hits them, they're beautiful to watch. But he did the big apology, but it's kind of like, don't make excuses, man. I mean, what your excuse was and what everybody's going to see with their eyeballs, just they don't match up. And even UD was kind of nice at halftime about it and saying,
UD would have gone out there and put that kid on his ass, right?
That's what was so funny. But at the same time, UD's watching it, and one of them's his team, and Bam's one of his best friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, is UD going to just tear into this guy for being dirty? He's not a dirty player, and a split second, and you're competitive. And anyway, hey, we'll find out about that, but it doesn't change what happened last night, no matter what happened with Bam and the fact he couldn't play in the second half and couldn't finish the second quarter with that game. And they're going home, man. And it's obviously the Panthers, we've known for a few weeks now, probably longer, that it was going to be a long shot for them to come back with all the injuries and Barkov not coming back. And so tonight, that's it for them. And they will be shutting down the arenas except for concerts coming up here for your favorite
we got
concerts.
A bunch of those, but it's a disappointing way for this thing to end, man. It's almost like you would have rather just seen them get blown out, but to tease you like that and
you got
put together a game. I would have loved to see them play Friday. Would have been fun to see them play Friday. They should have won that game.
It was a hell of a game, man. For and again, I know people go, what if Bam's on the court and he comes over and blocks that shot on LaMelo Ball and helps and jumps over the,
By the way, they did get destroyed on the offensive glass.
They did.
So, obviously having Bam would have helped that.
No,
Khalil Ware did his best. He's not the strongest guy out there, but he certainly did his best. But
hey, man, if he didn't get 19 rebounds, that thing would have been super ugly.
Yeah,
with
those block shots he had were incredible.
God.
I mean,
now listen, he had himself a nice game to kind of finish up his second year in the league here with 12 points and 19 rebounds and 5 blocks. We got more stuff to get to here this morning as we continue a little more than a week away from the first round of the NFL draft and all the conversations and the Miami Dolphins leaking a couple of guys to talk to the media, and everybody wants to get into how do you feel about a rebuild. I can just tell I could answer. I wish they would ask me about that question because there's not one guy on that team going, well, I wasn't really sure. I didn't get to play as much as I wanted. It didn't work on the last team, and I want to come here and just, be part of rebuild. There's not one guy going to say that. Not one guy. By the way, if I hope our media guys and our writers weren't surprised by the answer. Hell no, man. This is an opportunity for every one of those guys that maybe were a third or fourth or fifth wide receiver to now be a frontline guy, for pass rushers that maybe had 1 or 2 sacks and didn't play as much, and that were all pretty good. I mean, they got a lot of guys who were second, third, and fourth round draft picks a few years ago. Feel they didn't get a fair shot. They got a little chip on their shoulder, want to keep their careers going. Hey, man, one good year, because most of these are one-year deals. They're all show-me contracts. 1 year to show, because you're still young enough to get paid. And so these guys are thinking about the old, we're going to show everybody. And so I hope Perk and all the guys weren't surprised. Alan Pupart will join us later on, and that was kind of the message about how do you feel. Hey, and there's no question about it, man. We cleaned out a lot of money. We cleaned out a lot of money, and we got a lot of new faces in a lot of new places that and depending on a lot on this draft class coming in, that you're going to have a chance to see who it's going to be next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and hell, Saturday and Sunday with rookie free agents that didn't get drafted getting signed here, and there'll be a bunch of them as well. It is going to be a form of no question rebuild. It just is, with all the new guys that you have. But those dudes are going to try here. They want to play well, and they want to win games. All right, we got to go to break here. I don't know if that really helps with the rebuild thing, because there's this big fight about, is it a rebuild or not? Well, yeah, listen, you got a lot of new guys, and you're not even using half your friggin' money. You had to put it in the cemetery, man. You had to bury it. All right, right now, though, let's get into something very, very good. Always fun to talk about. I think it wins every day, and that's your South Florida Chevy dealers. They win every day when it comes to power, when it comes to great looks, when it comes to getting the perfect SUV for you and your family. Well, I'll tell you what, South Florida Chevy dealers have never looked better than they do right now. Starting with our cleanup hitter, the Colorado trucks and the Silverado trucks. And specifically, maybe a Silverado 1500 or the powerful Silverado HD. Hey, man, whatever it is, you always get strength, power, durability, capability, plenty of what you're looking for and expect from a truck. There's a lot of people up here in this early 6 o'clock morning on their way to work right now, listening to us. Got a full day working with that truck. Boy, you need something strong. You need something durable. You need something that can work as hard as you do. I don't mean 5 days a week. I mean 6 and 7 days a week. We got a perfect Silverado for you that you're going to love, and still plenty of room for the family, as well as all the toys you may have when you do have a day off to enjoy wave runners with the kids, or maybe grab that boat, go out and do a little fishing, whatever it is. Boy, they got a truck absolutely perfect for you. And how about the SUV, fam? How about a little teaser? It's kind of hard for me to go a day since I had a Tahoe for the last 20 years and not talk about it, man. I love it. I love driving. I keep thinking, I should get something smaller, but I'm so comfortable. Why? Why would I do it? Suburbans, Tahoes, Traverse, Equinox, I could go on. And of course, that sexy Corvette. Nobody can ever top that big boy. Hey, 14 dealerships throughout South Florida. Great deals going on right now. Test drive, get a great deal, and fall in love at your South Florida Chevy dealers today.
right lanes, major backup in the
All right, welcome back, and good morning to everybody. What a wow one last night, man. Great game. Great for the rest of the country that just loves the NBA and NBA fans. That was an entertaining game, and that's what fans want to see, two teams playing that hard. And, boy, they did from the start of that game, running them down the court, some drills you work on after a rebound, get the ball down quickly, and 2-3 passes for the dunk or a layup, and a bunch of great stuff. A lot of clutch shots made last night. Wild last minute of regulation, and then a wild finish to overtime as well. The Heat come up short in overtime, and if you missed it, and listen, it was a long shot, and some of you are already turned off that your team's a 10 seed, but you know, you're thinking, well, all right, we win 2 games. We'll get a chance to be an 8 seed and play the number 1 seed Pistons, and probably not going to win it, but it's the best of 7. We can get some games and have a couple more home games in the playoffs to watch, and it'll be really fun. And you didn't get that. So come up short. There's a lot of stuff that happened, but season's over. Listen, at the end of the day, Panthers season is over tonight in their last regular season game, and they'll be moving on to get healthy, and the Heat got a lot of decisions to make. By the way, I saw the extensions that some players are eligible for. I got to run these numbers for you. I always say this from the time I got into radio to the money now and where it is, and I get it. TV contracts have exploded in sports. We're seeing ridiculous money, and I just want to run. Hey, listen, I'm not a player hater. If the team gives it to them, they have it to give, and they think it's the best option for the Heat. Tyler Hero is eligible for a 4-year, $206 million contract. Powell, who I can just say on behalf of the Heat will not get this, is eligible for a 4-year, $128 million. That's not going to happen. Hawkes, how about this one? Now, listen, he's had a nice bounce-back season. He's probably not going to be real happy with how things ended with he was on defense when LaMelo Ball took it to the basket, and I don't know if he's afraid to foul him, whatever. But anyway, has had a good season. Going to get some votes, if not win sixth man of the year. So Hawkes is eligible for a 5-year, $245 million contract. That doesn't mean that's a max deal, but Jaime Hawkes is eligible. 15, 16 points a night. He's had some, bigger games, and 5-year, $245 million contract. Whew, man. Nothing like having those new TV contracts that they're able to get. Thank you, NBC. Thank you, Amazon Prime, which the game was on last night. And thank you, ESPN and ABC, and incredible amount of money these guys are eligible for.
Speaking of Amazon Prime, we got multiple people that have asked us to discuss the technical problems they had last night. So this was like late in overtime. The screen just goes blue and they got technical difficulties.
Yeah. So I have noticed that some of the new gang here that have jumped in, Netflix and Amazon Prime, have had their problems. And with getting this thing going. But I got to tell you, the NBA's happy, going, man. NFL's happy, going, man, you guys spend a lot of money. Netflix and Amazon, hey, thank you. I get some of that Apple TV money too that we're seeing being thrown around right now that MLS has a bunch of. All right, we got to go to break here. We've got a lot of stuff got to get all caught up. Brian Baldinger from NFL Network's getting set, who works with NFL Network, and they're getting ready for the draft coming up next Thursday, the first round of the NFL draft. We'll talk to him a little bit about the Miami Dolphins and NFL in general with Brian Baldinger when we come back. So we'll have that for you in just a few minutes here. But first, I want to talk to you about Recovery Unplugged. Never too early in the morning. Help my brothers out there. If you're going through it, hey, man, there are some guys that never go through any of the highs and lows. Just get through life every day and things are good. Marriage is solid. The job is just unbelievable, but that's not the case for a lot of guys. A lot of guys find themselves, and I've been there. I've been off the road, man. I've been off the road with the marriage part of it as well as the job part of it, and it sometimes hard to get back on the road, man. It's hard. You get in a funk, start trying to find other things to make you feel better, like alcohol and drugs and the whole deal. Well, I just want to tell you, if you're going through it right now, it's okay. You're not alone. It happens to a lot of people. It's about getting you healthy again. Recovery Unplugged, Dr. Barry and his team can do it for you. I'm telling you right now, if you're ready for your comeback season, if you're ready, Recovery Unplugged Behavioral Health is here to help you with a beautiful mental health residential program right here in Fort Lauderdale. They've helped over 20,000 people nationwide with expert care, music-based healing, and innovative treatments like ketamine therapy for depression, anxiety, and trauma. Make this the year you put yourself first. Call 954-737-4508 or visit recoveryunplugged.com. New year, new you. Recovery Unplugged. Heal out loud.
The Joe Rogan
emergency crews are at the scene. That
54 April 17th. The casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new
And then it's time to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com, where we are joined by Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger. Odyssey NFL insider calls are brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need, Joe.
All right, man. Great to have our guy back, man. Brian Baldinger. I hope he's had a great off. I haven't heard recently, which means my man's enjoying himself a little bit. Baldy, how you doing?
Joe, it's good to hear your voice, man. I'm doing great. Good time of the year, man. We get a little Christmas season for all of us NFL teams out there next week, and I'm just kind of getting geared up for it.
Hey, you know what? It is incredible what they've created, not only in the cities that get these events like Pittsburgh this year, but what the first round has turned into. Like it's like its own event. It like ranks up there. Like they're the only sport that's been able to do this and make it such a huge day or a huge weekend of the draft. It's incredible.
And it is, Joe, and it's going to be I'm from Pittsburgh and born there. You know, it's my roots, and it's going to be some kind of scene. It's a football town, obviously, but you know they just made another change for next Thursday night. So the picks are now instead of being within every 10 minutes, it's down to every 8 minutes.
Great.
So it's going to move even. It's going to move even quicker than it already has. So it's gonna come at us really fast, Joe. We're going to see a lot of names come off the board that we've heard about for the last 2 months, and every team is going to think that they've just turned their fortunes around.
Yeah, I love that when they go to the war room and they're all celebrating. No matter what, they got their guy. Right from the start to the finish, man. We got our guy and shaking hands with the owner and the GM's hugging the president. The president's hugging the head coach. It's beautiful. Hey, so let's jump into it. And, I think of Baldy's breakdowns and the Miami Dolphins with a new general manager, a new head coach, the Green Bay way, I like to say, of doing things, been pretty successful. So, you like some guard tackles. They're talking about potentially trying to find a guard who can be a tackle at 11. Just curious how you like this group of guards and tackles in this draft.
I like him, Joe. Viveka Iwani is the number one guard in this draft from Penn State, and just like last year, Tyler Booker and Graves Abel were first round picks of Dallas and Seattle. They both started, made an impact right away. I think he's better than both those guys. So,
wow.
But, if you look at Maranoa, here from University of Miami, he looks like he could be an all-pro guard, but he certainly could play, tackle like he did at Miami. It's a good group. I don't think there's Lane Johnson in the group. I don't think there's Trent Williams in the group, but I think it's a pretty solid group. There's going to probably be 6 or 7 offensive linemen taken in the first round. So it just depends on, when they start to fall.
You like Maui Noah then inside a little bit. I hear that sometimes that he could be, even better, although, everybody's going to be looking for tackles. You know that. But you think he can play in the NFL a tackle too and be all right?
It just reminds me of watching when Zach Martin came out of Notre Dame and Quentin Nelson came out of Notre Dame. They were tackles and, they became all-pro and all-world guards. And I feel like that's kind of what Brandon Sheriff was like that. He was the 5th pick in the draft out of Iowa, and he came in, had a great career. I feel like that's what it looks like when I watch him, although certainly he's got the size to be a tackle and can start a tackle, but he looks like he might be even better inside.
We got Jonas Avayanaya, and people kind of listen. Everybody's under a microscope, and he played every snap, but it wasn't necessarily. There's a lot of growing pains, to put it nicely, in year one. You think he's got potential to still be a lot better? People go back and forth on this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I thought that it was a little fast, and I thought he got, just handled by some quicker guys inside last year. But, the size and the ability and the mentality, I think, is all there. I'm a huge fan of, the left tackle and Patrick Paul. I thought he had a very good season. And so, let those guys grow together, for another year. And I think you might have something really brewing there on that side.
Yeah, it's interesting. By the way, we got all kinds of news. Speaking of Pittsburgh, before I forget, it is really weird that everybody's got a pretty good idea who their quarterback's going to be and kind of back up. And Pittsburgh is sitting there, especially after Kirk Cousins signed to either start or be the backup or a combo with the Raiders. I guess this means Aaron Rodgers coming back to be the Steelers quarterback here in the next month or two.
Well, I mean, he's got to make a declaration here by next Thursday. They got to know going into the draft. I mean, I don't know if he's holding them hostage, but obviously he's been, out of the news and we haven't heard from him. But Pittsburgh's got to kind of know what they've got or what they don't have. And it might really change the way they approach the draft. Maybe they know and we just haven't heard. You can read all the tea leaves you want, but, it's going to be his decision, I would think.
Yes.
Or Pittsburgh's decision. Maybe Mike McCarthy and Omar Khan and the GM and Andy Weidel, the pro personnel director. I mean, those guys, maybe they already know. And they're, just keeping it quiet right now.
Ty Simpson. Boy, I'll tell you what, everybody's been all over the board everywhere. Doesn't matter where you turn. It's hard to get people to agree on Ty Simpson as high as middle first round to into the second round. What do you think from what you see? And man, listen, everybody's looking for that franchise quarterback.
Why did he come out? He started 15 games. So what? He wasn't good at the end of the season. He got banged up. He's not a big guy. I don't know why some of these guys come out, Joe. He needs to play. And so people go, well, you could take him and he can sit and watch. Well, nobody gets better at that position by sitting and watching. Nobody. No. You only get better by playing. And so I just think it's a big gamble. We've seen so many guys fail, Joe. 15 starts. You got to learn how to play on the road in bad weather, with a good team, with a bad team around you. There's just, Carson Beck, he stayed. I think it helped Carson. I like Carson Beck personally. It helped that he played 15 or 16 games for Miami this year, coming back from a shoulder injury. But 15 starts. I don't care what he looked like in some of the games, especially early in the season. He wasn't good in the, at the end of the season. I'm just not sold just because of the history of guys that have only started 15 games in college and what that transfers to the NFL.
You sound like Mike Mayock. If you talk to Mike Mayock, I swear to God, Mike.
I know Mike real well.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in this cycle yet. But we used to work in the same building here for a long time.
Hey, real quickly, A.J. Brown, man, the A.J. Brown topic too. We like him. No, he likes us. No, we're not giving up, but his name's still out there. Do you think when it's said and done, he'll be playing with the Eagles next year?
I don't think so, Joe. They just made another trade yesterday or this weekend for Dontavian Wicks. He's 24-year-old wide receiver who's had some good days in this league. They traded for Hollywood Brown. They traded for or picked up free agent Elijah Moore. It looks like they've rebuilt their wide receiver room. I was at a wedding with a bunch of the Eagles this past weekend in Nashville. Nobody was really talking about it. I wasn't snooping. I didn't really care. But, honestly, it just seems like they're ready to they already have a number one wide receiver in Devontae Smith. It's not like they lose a lot. They've got a number one. It's hard to, Miami just showed you. It's hard to, kind of feed two number one wide receivers when they had Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
It is hard.
They've got a number one. They got a bunch of guys that look like they could be the two or the three. They got a good tight end. They got a hell of a running back. It looks like with what they have in the roster without A.J. Brown, they're still pretty good.
Hey, so John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley with all these picks and had to clean house, as you know. A lot of dead money at the cemetery right now. There's no question about it. So I just curious as you look at it and this draft overall, how many starters can you get? I know you're not going to hit 7 out of 7. It sounds great, and I could sit here and tell you, hey, we got 7 in the first 94. We're going to get 7 great players, but I just history says that won't be the case. What would be your goal to get out of this of guys that end up being good starters? out of the first 7 picks?
Joe, I mean, I'd be curious what your buddy Dan Marino would say about that wide receiver room. It looks like the worst wide receiver room.
No, yeah, no, it's nothing
so.
there.
I mean, you got to get a starting wide receiver. You got to get a starting corner. I mean, you got 11, picks 11 and 30. You probably got to get a starting right tackle. I mean, I think you got to start with saying we need 3 starters, Joe. I know they've got 4 third-round picks, and maybe one of those guys. You hope one of those guys, can become a starter. But you'd hope that with the picks that they have at 11, 30, and 43, that you could get 3 starters. I mean, not that you have to have it, but the roster is pretty weak at this point. So, probably going to need a safety, a corner, a tackle, a wide receiver for sure. Not to mention, tight end, whatever else. So,
right.
I would say you got to start with at least 3 starters with those top, 7 of the top 94 picks.
I know you spent time at UM. By the way, we're at spring. They love you down there. And by the way, you got to see these new guys, these 4- and 5-star tackles that came in early. They're going, Baldy's got. I go, Baldy's gonna love him, man. This Cantwell kid is, yeah.
I just like the way Mario works those guys down there. That's a serious program. What Mario's doing there, man. I applaud because I didn't think we were going to see football practice like that anymore in this world.
Yeah. How about us? We go from Dolphin practice last year to watching now. No, it was like, holy smokes. I'm not going to be able to do this show today. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Hey, got to ask you about another guy, Markel Bell, who ended up turning 6'9", 340-something pounds. Started on the other side of Maui Noah at left tackle. Where's he end up, and how good can he be at the next level?
I think people are going to, he's going to get drafted. Whether he's day 2 or day 3, he's going to get drafted. It reminds me, honestly, everybody always looking for a comp. There's a kid that came out of Kansas State, 11 or 12 years ago, Cornelius Lucas. He's still in the league. He's had a 10 or 11 year career. He's not as big as Markel. He's 6'9", just not as thick as Markel. But there's a place for him. Yeah, there's definitely a place for a guy that has that size, arm length. The way he's been trained by Mario down there, I watched him, go through all the drills last year. I'm sure guys that have great suddenness and quickness, the Micah Parsons world are going to get them all tangled up at times. But, when you go up against a guy like that, you make sure that you give him help. But I think he could become a player in this league.
Hey, before we get to the draft, I just, after the Waddle deal, I looked at that Denver team, what they have coming back and the draft, and they gave up a good pick for Waddle, but he's a hell of a player. So I think they clearly have the best team in the AFC, and everybody goes, oh, you can't say that. I don't even know if they're the best in their own division. How do you feel about the Denver Broncos this year?
So they won 15 games last year, and the quarterback, didn't play in the second playoff game against Buffalo. He was 15-3 as a starter. They won a playoff game. They dominated the division. They led the league in sacks. They've lost a couple of players, but they picked a kid in the first round last year, Jahdae Barron, out of Texas, a cornerback. He couldn't even get on the field. Not because he wasn't good. It's just because they were locked down. Riley Moss, Patrick Surtain, like they had all their guys, and they brought J.K. Dobbins back, and they get Waddle. The offensive line returns intact. They were down 2 starters during the season. You didn't notice the loss of 2 starters at center and left guard. That's because their depth was so good. Yeah. I think they're the team to beat, Joe.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody finally agrees with me on that. Hey, before I let you go, Malik Willis going to be a starting quarterback. 2 guys that knew him best ended up bringing him with them. It didn't take them long. John Eric Sullivan, the general manager, Jeff Hafley. Boy, that was a quick one that they think, from what they've seen being with him last 2 years. What are your thoughts? You've seen him up close a few times.
Yeah, I saw him when he was a rookie in Tennessee. I saw him at Liberty, when he was playing college there. He's 4 years into this thing. Look, he started 6 games, Joe. There's a big difference between being a backup, coming off the bench, and, playing well, and becoming, a starter on a team that isn't nearly as talented as Green Bay. There might be some growing pains there. He's got to learn how to become a starter. I think he knows how to prepare. He's a smart kid. He's a great kid. Never gonna have to worry about him. He's got all that stuff going for him. But it's going to be a different world when you're under the microscope, and they're game planning for you now every week, and the roster around them isn't very good right now. So it's a little bit of a reach right now, but they got to see him in practice every day. They got to see how his chemistry, his makeup. I'm pulling for him because he's a great kid, but this is going to be a big jump for him this year.
All right. Hey, Baldy, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Joe. Anytime, man. Let's do it again real soon.
You got it. Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider.
This NFL Insider call has been brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
All right, Woody, thank you so much. I want to tell you about Michael Kotze at Choice Mortgage here for just a second. 30 years of experience, and people ask me, how's Michael Kotze, through all the craziness of what's going on with interest rates and everything, how's he stay in business? And I go, well, it's simple. It's about great service. It really is. No matter. You need to get approved. You need to get money. You need to get that second mortgage. You need to get a reverse mortgage. You're looking at, all that equity, get some of it out of your home. Hey, man, this is what Michael Kotze does. I'm telling you, debt consolidation and everything else you might be going through. One of the more popular ones right now, man, is people are behind on property taxes, HOA dues, insurance, assessments, judgments. They're going through all these things going, I don't know how I'm going to make it late in life. And Michael Kotze can help you get it taken care of. How about you're living right now in a condo and we're looking great when it started. Now with the cost of everything, you're actually using your credit card to pay every month at 18, 19%. Man, it's crazy. You're just not going to make it. It's a terrible story on its way. Michael Kotze can get you approved, get that second mortgage for you, get things back paid off, and get those rates down for you so you can afford to live again. Matter of fact, reverse mortgages, if you're 62 or older, you and your spouse, first you have equity in your home, he can get you approved quickly. Again, it's about great service. It's always about low rates and just doing a great job for people. And that's what Michael Kotze's done for 30 years at Choice Mortgage. The man has no life. He's always working 7 days a week. Call or text him, 561-441-2730. 561-441-2730, MLS 166254. Rates and terms are subject to change. Daily without notice. He's an equal housing lender. Go to Google reviews on the web. Choice Mortgage reviews. They're saying a lot of great things about Michael Kotze at Choice Mortgage.
season came to an end after a 127-126 overtime loss to the Hornets. Bam Adebayo left the game in the second quarter and did not return after he was ripped down by LaMelo Ball. Over to the Panthers, who will wrap up their season tonight when they host Detroit. Puck drops at 7 from Amerant Bank Arena. The game can be heard on 104.3 FM. And the baseball, the Marlins fell to the Braves 6-5. The teams will meet for the rubber match tonight with the first pitch at 7:15 from Truist Park in Atlanta. The game can be heard on 560 AM. And tonight the Hurricanes will host USF. Their first pitch is at 6 from Mark Light. The Joe Rose Show continues now.
Ball in to Ball. He curls around, scoops it, dances on the iron and in to make it a 1-point game. Into Davion. He's taking it all the way down, scoops it up. It's blocked away. And that's it. Bridges awarded the block, his third of the game, and it was right on time. The Heat season is done.
I didn't see it, but I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If somebody has got to see that, and that he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
All right, that was Coach Spo pissed off about Bam getting injured, and the way he was injured in that second quarter. LaMelo Ball grabs his leg and flips him right onto his lower back, and that was it. Did not play. If you missed the game last night, and a wild game. It was a great game to watch. End of regulation and the end of overtime. There were good plays and there was really bad plays, and LaMelo Ball was looking like he was going to be the go to that game. He really was. He fouls Hero in the corner, allows him to make 3 free throws, which, hey, great job by Hero to go on the road and make 3 straight free throws. Not the easiest thing to do. And then on top of that, he turns the ball over. Had a turnover. But they're still able to win, and he makes that final shot. And I'm not exactly sure, but Jaime not in great position to do anything with it. Now, obviously was didn't want to foul LaMelo at that point, so he gets the layup, and then at the other end, you heard the highlight there of the block shot, and a great play defensively. Davion Mitchell going in and goes coast to coast, and he was going for the layup, and it gets blocked, and a lot of great efforts. It was a fun game to watch. I will tell you, it was a fun game to watch. In at the end, both teams had lots of chances. Some wild threes made by both teams at the end of the game. Tyler Hero's 3 in the corner going out was just phenomenal, and obviously they also had a wild fadeaway 3 to tie the game. So there was a lot of fun, great plays to watch. Could have gone and then you don't have Bam in the second half. I don't know. Does Bam come over and maybe block that shot? Does he help out at the end of the game? Jaime Jaquez gets beat by a step and doesn't want to foul. Is there a chance of Bam? We've seen Bam win games on blocks at the end of the game.
Well, I think the impact Bam would have had is, he got destroyed on the offensive glass, right? All those putbacks, all those offensive rebounds, they really started to take their toll. I think he certainly could have helped with that. And the other thing, too, is that this guy should have been tossed from the game immediately, right? And he had a huge impact on the game. So
he did.
You can't do stuff like that, man. You can't grab a guy's leg out from under him.
No, it was a dirty play. Look at it. It was what? It's not even. It was dirty. You don't do that. You don't grab a guy's
if
foot.
He's not suspended. That league needs to show they have an ounce of integrity in a league that's full of tanking and crap. Like they need to suspend this guy without question for the next play.
So I don't know. He's getting fined for sure.
Fine
I don't
doesn't
know.
matter. They need to suspend his ass for the next game. He should have been tossed, Joe.
They're saying
Suppose
should
right.
there have been a flagrant, and how the officials, and he was naming them by their first name, Zach and Jack and Sam, and what the hell you watching?
It's pathetic. It's a pathetic play.
Well, listen, man, it was without Bam in there, still a hell of a game. And those guys played their ass off. They really did. I mean, you can't get mad at Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell had 28. Wiggins had 27. Hell, Wiggins, your best three-point shooter you had on the team this year. Hero had 23. A lot of them, a lot of big shots actually at the end of the game, hitting the 3 free throws. And
team played their asses off, Joe, and that's why the game was such a tease, because you wish you saw more of that.
Yeah.
Khalil Ware played great. He played his behind off.
12, 19 rebounds and 5 blocks. I mean,
his blocks were huge.
They're all big.
Very timely. Tyler, it's unfortunate that you feel the need to heave up a 3 when the game's tied, right? I just think that
you would have liked to
like
see
the prototypical play where you want to drive the ball in
yeah.
and, make the refs swallow their whistle, right? Because everything's a foul.
Well,
I mean, heck, that 3 that he got fouled on at the end, did he get touched on that? Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe a little on the hand, but
I think we saw, though, with the 6 or 7 seconds that he was in no hurry to try to.
No, well, he's
get to
backtracking the other end to get the ball. He's in no hurry to get up the court.
He was going to hit. He was trying to hit that long winning 3, and
you got to look good doing it,
back
right,
of the
Joe?
rim.
Yeah, got to hit the long one.
Anyway, they're out. And by the way, when you're a 10 seed, this is what you get, man. I mean, we can sit here and I make 1,000 excuses, but when you're a 10 seed and you got to win 2 to get into the playoffs, this is what you get.
They were not a playoff team this year. They probably did not deserve much.
They got to make a lot of decisions, and it looks like they're going to pick 12th or 13th now in the draft, and they got a little bit of a shot to get a top 4. What is it? Top pick, maybe 1% chance. Top 4 pick. I don't
need
know.
to call in whoever the Mavs called last year.
Yeah. Hey, can you help us out this year? It's been a while. We've been good soldiers down here in South Florida.
They have been.
Yeah, we've been good. We let everybody catch up to us now here with us playing.
Fantastic draft, by the way. Now, you talk about a deep draft. My goodness, man, this is a fantastic draft.
We saw a lot of good players, didn't we? We did see a lot of good guys, and some of them didn't go deep into the playoffs, and some did. But anyway, that was the Heat season. And by the way, it's weird on April 15th to tell you folks that the Panthers and Heat Panthers been out for a while. The season's over tonight to make it official, but both Panthers and Heat will be watching the playoffs, and we haven't said that for a while.
Yeah, this is new territory.
We're in a new place where all of a sudden the biggest event we have going on is next Thursday night.
Sorry, it's a big event.
It was a big event, no matter.
Yeah, it'll be a good event.
First round of the NFL draft and.
Spring football wrapping up here.
Spring football Saturday.
Yeah.
I was asked again last night, how good's the team, honestly? How's it look? And I go, well, you don't know a lot of the names right now, but they got a really good team. You don't have names that a lot of them right now. If I said them, you go, I kind of remember. Was he on the team last year? But they got some good ones, and they brought in transfer portal, did not cut corners financially on bringing in transfer portal quarterback and wide receiver and pass rusher and add some depth to this team on the defensive line. And they went after it pretty good. Like we're in it to win it kind of thing. So, yeah, I like their team and what they have. I think the passing game is going to be even better than last year with a 2,000-yard pass catchers from a year ago led by Malachi Toney, who is at a different level right now. So, yeah, we got all that stuff and a lot of talk yesterday. More they've been leaking out players to the media a little bit. And this thing, it's really bad when we have to sit here and we have to talk about if it's officially a rebuild or not, because the team won't say we don't like rebuild. We're not going to say that. And we're going to try to win every game. Yeah, we had to get rid of a lot of dead money. We had to bury it. We lost it. It's gone. And so we don't have as much money, as in historic lost money, to build it back up for next year. They got some interesting things ahead of them. First, the unknown of the draft and how it's going to work out. with the 11 picks overall and the 7 in the first 3 rounds. And then the second thing is, with this team is, how well will you're going to hit on some of these cheap free, I call them cheap free agents because they are. I mean, it's right across the board. It's basically minimum wage. It's still good money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking shots at it, but there are a lot of guys trying to get their careers going are going to play their ass off. And there's good 1-year free agent contract with a lot of guys coming off either average years, below average years, didn't get to play a lot, were high draft picks. It hasn't worked out where they were, and they want to get it going and get it going again. So they're going to be motivated. You're going to have a young draft class that's going to have a lot expected of it. And all I hope is give Malik Willis a chance to show what he can do. Please don't leave him empty-handed. Please. Build up that offensive line. I know they will. Get him a wide receiver or 2. I don't care what round. Get him some receivers you believe can play, because that thing's got to be upgraded for where it is right now. And what we've had here, obviously, and 2 really good ones. Had a nice 1-2 punch here in a passing game for 3 or 4 years there. Didn't win anything with it, but put up some good numbers. So anyway, it will be an interesting and fun one to watch and see once they put it together. But I don't think when people say, "Hey, man, they're empty of talent," yeah, we don't have the talent right now that other teams have. I mean, you can't argue that. And most of that talent and the upside of this team is this draft class, specifically the first 7 picks. How many will work out? You're not going to go 7 for 7. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but just past history of no matter, you're not going to hit on every guy. Some guys will get injured. Some guys just won't play as well, don't fit the system. Some will lose their confidence. But you hope a majority of these guys will, you have 4 or 5 of these guys in the first 2 days to play well, really help the process and speed it up with all the extra money you're going to have. And the other thing is you got 3 guys that want to be paid. They're not throwing it in your face right now, which I appreciate, by the way. Nothing worse than hearing a guy and his agent out whining every day. But we got a center, a middle linebacker, and a running back want to get paid. And so how are you going to do that, considering you don't have a lot of money to do it right now as well? So, man, I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting for the new general manager, who's going to have final say on what he wants to do, and obviously has to check with the finance department on what they can do right now with very limited funds their way of the salary cap. So anyway, hey, man, we got all kinds of other stuff to get to here this morning as well. Inter Miami coach, man, is out. That was a weird story. Like, wait a second. The guy just won the MLS Cup champ. He was just MLS Cup champion. He said he quit for personal reasons. That's kind of open when I hear he quit for personal reasons. Like, wanted to go home, things not good at home. I mean, it could be a zillion different things. Team hasn't played as well as maybe the ownership thought, and we're getting on him. He said, listen, I'm not going to have you guys looking over my shoulder. Listen, man, it could be, it's just weird. You got a new stadium. You got a nice vibe going with this team right now. You got Messi. And all of a sudden, you quit for personal reasons. So, hey, listen, stuff happens. I get it. Things go on in your life, personal life, and family does come before sports and before your job, and I understand that. But, man, what a great opportunity. I don't know if he's got something else going on. I don't know. Everybody put a nice spin and thanked everybody, and he was thanking people, and ownership was thanking him, and it was a love affair. So that also taking place. And the Marlins, man, let one slip away. 5-3 lead in the 8th, and couldn't hold it. Could not hold it late in the game and end up losing. So rubber match today coming up for that one. And, boy, we just got all kinds of stuff. Alan Pupart is SI host of the All Dolphins podcast, going to join us coming up in the next hour or so. We'll have him on and talk to him and get into some of the picks, and as well as some guys and opportunity. I tell you what, I got one guy I'm really, really looking forward to, I think, and I'm glad they re-signed him from last year's team. Matter of fact, he would have been under the circumstances of money and consideration and everything. The one guy that was a free agent that I would have had back is a guy that they brought back. And I said it when I saw it. I said, I think Dulcich at tight end, I thought he played really, really well considering everything. He ended up being a go-to guy, had some 4 and 5 catch games, also had a couple nice plays called back, run after catch. He's just really good. And I think he's got a chance to be a really good pass receiving full-time tight end with this team. And I'm glad he's back. I'm glad to see that guy back. He really, again, I know he got bounced around, drafted by Denver and then with the Giants, and they let him go. And anyway, he ends up here at a perfect time and really came through with the injuries to the tight end position and everything you went through with that. All right, we got to go to break. We got a lot of stuff here going on this morning. Tony Pauline, NFL draft analyst, will join us. We'll talk to him and get the take. And everybody, this is a great time, man, because the mock drafts have never been more popular than right now, because everybody wants to know when a guy does a mock draft. And if you know who the guy is, you're kind of curious, what your team's going to take and what they think your team will take and what's out there. Anyway, right now I want to talk to you about when all our teams get hurt, where do they go? And I go, and I get asked it almost every day. Hey, where do the pros go? I got an injury in my family. I'd like to have them go to those same doctors. I go, well, enter Miami, the Heat, the Panthers, and the Dolphins, those teams we talk about a lot. They all go to this great sports medicine program that Baptist Health South Florida has put together. I mean, it is top notch. It's one of the tops in the country. It's that good. And when you have great facilities, great specialists, great team doctors that are with the team every day, you kind of get the picture of just how good and how important specialists are, especially at the end of the year, during the year, to get guys surgeries, have great surgeries where these guys can come back quickly and get back in the lineup. And that's what Baptist Health South Florida does. The shoulder, foot and ankle, hand, back, hip and knee replacement, Achilles. You go on and on with the great facilities, Doctors Hospital in Coral Gables and Hard Rock Stadium next to the training facility of the Miami Dolphins. 595 in Pine Island Implantation, man. I'm telling you, we are covered, South Florida. And the best news while I'm yapping right now is I want to let you know you're going to be able to see those same doctors that work on all of our athletes every day. You'll be able to get in to see them. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho. One goal every day. It's about getting you healthy, back out playing the sports you love the most.
Going 3-row SUV in stock and on sale now. Call 305-KENDALL today.
Major delays.
We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. You know, he should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game, you know, tripping guys, you know, shenanigans. And, you know, Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If, you know, somebody has got to see that, and that, you know, he should have been thrown out of the game, you know, for that. I don't know him from, you know, anyone. I just, there's no place in the game for that. Obviously, you know, it took Bam out of the game.
All right. Obviously, head coach Eric Spoelstra pissed off. He should be. That it was a cheap shot. It was 100% cheap. Man, own up to it. I messed up. Shouldn't have grabbed his leg like I did. Don't try to say you came down on your head and you lost it for a second. You weren't sure where you were and all that stuff. And Bam went down hard on his back and couldn't return for the second half of the game. Didn't come back in the rest of the second quarter. And LaMelo Ball, he didn't even get a flagrant foul. Nothing. They missed it. I don't know how. With everybody on top of it and looking at the line to see, you know, if you're inbounds, out of bounds. It all was right there in front of them. Somehow the officials, Zach and Curtis, and I forgot who else was out there, but they missed it. They missed it. And honestly, for people, you know, like Spo said, he should have, you know, been taken out of the game. We lost our best player. His ass should have been out too. And I don't know what the league's going to do. I'm guessing he's going to get fined a lot of money for sure.
They need to suspend him for a game. But I'm, by the way, man, this crossed my mind. I don't know if it crossed your mind, but I don't know who the last guy on the bench is. They need to send someone out to hurt that guy.
The day of UD coming in after somebody goes hard after D-Wade is over.
You yank the guy's leg out from under him. When you see he's on one leg and you pull his leg out. That, by the way, that fall was brutal. That's a big man.
Yeah.
Falling on his lower back like that. And obviously to not come back into a game like that, he must have been pretty hurt.
Yeah, of course. Bam wasn't going to miss that game.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they didn't have someone deep on the bench that they could send out there to just
I don't
break
know,
that
Woody.
guy's legs.
I don't know if we're doing much of that in the league anymore.
No. I also thought they weren't doing a ton of that, like let's pull a guy's leg out from under him and hurt him type of thing either. But
yeah, we've had some of the stuff like this.
Second time, by the way, he's done that to Bam in his career. They got a video from 2024 where he pulled his leg out from under him. So
you know, we do this with Draymond sometimes and stuff that he's done. And
Draymond's more like I'll just kick you in the package type of guy.
Well, or
punch you in the package. He goes after the package at least. So it's only temporary pain. But.
Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen. It will be interesting to
what do
see.
you think they should do? You think they should suspend them?
I think we're a 10 seed. That's what I think. In the bigger picture.
I don't care about that part.
You want to get into drama because you want blood today.
I do want.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. And do you think he should be suspended for the next game?
Yes, I think he should be suspended, but I don't know if he's going to get suspended. Honestly, I really don't care about the next game between
whoever it is. Yeah,
whoever it's going to be,
Orlando or Philly.
Philly.
I won't be watching either on my Friday night, but
you know, we're sitting here talking about a 10 and 9 and 10 seed down to the wire, and a great game, by the way. Great game, even without Bam. I mean, there were some guys that stepped up and played really well. The effort, my God, Spo was right about one thing, the effort, man. I never get mad at the effort from those guys to finish up this season because a lot of guys got after it. But, you know, just and here we are, man. We're fighting as a 10. We need to win two. You needed to win 2 games on the road just to get a chance to be the 8 seed. And honestly, you've been barely all season long just over 500. And that's not what this thing's all about. And they're going to make a lot of tough decisions on a lot of guys. A lot of guys are going, hey, I'm up for these big, fat NBA extensions. Hero's eligible for a 4-year, $206 million. Powell, who's not going to get it. 4-year, $128 million. And Jaime Jaquez is coming up. He's been here a while now. He's eligible for a 5-year, $245 million contract. How do I give a guy coming off the bench that kind of money?
If the season wasn't a wake-up call, that game last night should have been a wake-up call to where you're really at as a franchise, right? You're in a dogfight in a play-in game, which you end up on the wrong end of. Like that should be.
Well, you played against a team that had a better record than you did because that's why you're at their house.
Yeah, but home, away, whatever. The 9-10 game, like that's what you are. It should be a wake-up call, right? And this is great for the Hornets. Like, this is really exciting for them.
Oh, they were jumping up and down like they're moving on.
That's what the standard of their franchise is.
They thought they're going to the conference finals, jumping up and down. The crowd goes, we're one game away from getting some more games at home.
Yeah, they had quite a playoff drought going themselves, but like that's what they are. Like that's for the Hornets. That's their gold standard. But the Heat, like, they should be better than this, man. They should not be. It's not even mediocre at this point.
I think they got a pretty good idea, Woody.
I hope so, Jokes. I hope they don't start handing out contracts to these guys because they need some serious changes to be made.
I do hate to break it to you, but a lot of these guys will be back on the team, and we'll put, hey, we're going to do the whole off-season workouts and our culture, and guys are going to jump up on the culture and start playing better. Anyway. And you know, the thing is, they're one of the leading team scoring points per game in the league with and fun style. That up and down the court stuff last night, it's fun to watch. And when it's well executed and ends up a couple of passes and you got a layup or a dunk or a friggin' wide open three, man, from moving the ball and getting it, down the court quickly, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It is fun to watch. But we got a little spoiled around here, man. We got a little spoiled, and the expectations with the Heat, which, by the way, is a good thing. You guys been good. You teased your generation or two of fan base that you guys are used to having star players and used to being really good and going deep into the playoffs. And now, 4 years in a row, you've been a playing team. 1 year, hey, it worked. Great story.
Well, every offseason, it seems like they've targeted one of these guys, right? Whether it's Kevin Durant or Damian Lillard or Giannis, and it's like, oh, it's done. They're going to get it done, and it just hasn't happened. And they come back with the same group. That can't happen again. Bunch of text coming in on this one. Someone's excited that we're in the lottery. It is a very good draft this year. I don't know where those rigged ping pong balls will end up, but someone said we needed UD last night. UD was in the studio.
Yeah, UD. So. UD, I thought when they went to him at halftime, he'd be kind of jacked up. He wasn't. He was like, hey, man, it's, and he was trying to say, hey, LaMelo Ball, he must know him. So he's not a bad guy. Can't believe he did it. And, and they kind of moved on from it. Mm-hmm. So, but you're right. If UD would have been playing and D Wade, his buddy, goes down and he sees a cheap shot, he's going out there. We saw it. We saw it. And he go after him. That's what they did. But, hey, different now, and so it didn't happen, and you're right. So we got a shot. I don't know, for what I see, between a 4.8% to a 7.1% to land a top 4 selection, 1% chance for the top pick. Yeah, I'm with everybody else.
Just need to grease whoever the Mavericks, greased last year. That's all you got to do.
Seriously, dude. You got to stop the conspiracy on the thing.
On the NBA draft lottery, come on, man.
Seriously.
That's like the number one conspiracy thing in sports.
Yeah, that is.
The thing always seems to work out.
That's what for your.
Hell, Philly won that thing like 6 years in a row.
Yeah,
remember that?
They gave it to them, knowing they'd take a guy that was going to be
the process.
Injured.
Yeah,
they knew it was going to be one of their guys going to be injured a lot.
Texas says Jaquez 6th man of the year. Joe, you're saying don't pay him.
You're going to pay him that kind of money?
That's a lot of money.
6th man of the year, 15 points a game.
Hero is hurt all the time. He has to go. He'd have to start playing defense again. Can't give up 140 points a game. The Heat did not play very good defense this season.
By the way, you don't have to give him the max. People understand you can pay him
and
less.
And just to address this, Joe, one person I would assume is a lock to stay would be Coach Spo.
Yeah, Spo's not going anywhere.
I don't think they're going to fire him.
No, Spo's not going anywhere.
Get that out of the way.
No, and by the way, he signed a nice, long contract at, I believe, the highest paid he and Steve Kerr, if I'm not mistaken, or
it doesn't matter. He's not. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's not.
That's not even worth discussing this morning.
Anyway, we'll see. And the one name that's going to pop up, so get ready for it. He plays for the Milwaukee Bucks, and he and his team are fighting. It's a weird one. He wants to play, and the team said no.
I got a clip for you. We'll play it in the headlines, but Shams was talking about that yesterday, and that situation in Milwaukee is such a mess.
I feel bad for those players, the rest of them, no matter how good or bad they are. Most of them aren't very good because they weren't very good even when they had them playing. But those guys got to deal with that every night. Like, does it affect you? What do you think? Yeah. I mean, this is hearing our guy, and he sits with us, and he says, I want to play, and they're going, now you can't play. But when I'm playing, I'm one of the best players in the game. So, yeah.
They're having trouble getting guys on the floor, getting their stars to play, yet you got a situation last night where I think Bam's a star in that league, don't you?
Yeah.
And you don't protect the guy? Gets ripped down like that? That's really weird, man.
When are you going to let that go? How long are you going to?
Can I at least have 24 hours?
All right. I just wanted to find out how long you're going to come back to that. I'm trying to get.
I was riled up. I'm trying to get some sleep last night.
I'm trying to get the Greek freak here, and you're worried about.
I want a little payback. This guy says the Bam controversy to end the season now guarantees the number one pick because the NBA wants to repay the cheap shot. There you go.
Hey, by the way, if
you're going to get mad at the texters too for thinking the NBA draft lottery is rigged?
You just beat conspiracy theory. Every time something happens in football and basketball, you think the league is making calls to don't call that, let it go.
You don't think it was convenient that Dallas got the first pick after giving Luka away?
Don't you think the other teams would be really pissed off?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure they would.
That guy was clearly the best player coming out of Duke.
Yes, he was.
And everybody wanted him. And for good reason. He's going to be really friggin' good.
You don't think it's a little bit fishy?
Because the dumbasses got rid of the leading scorer in the NBA. So they go, hey, sorry about that. And we know your fan base is pissed off. Dallas is important to us in the NBA world. Not that Jerry Jones doesn't control Dallas. But, hey, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you get that first pick. We think, Mr. Flag would look good in your jersey.
Sounds exactly like what the conversation probably.
Yeah, boy, you're on to something.
Hey, look, can they give the Heat the third pick? You don't have to completely go crazy and give them the first, but give them 3.
We do need.
There's some good players in the draft.
Hey, listen, I'd love to see us forget number 1. I'd like to see us get 4. One of those 4
You'd
spots.
settle for 4?
One of those 4 spots. I'd take number 4 right now. Yeah, give me the 4th one.
I could live with 4.
All right. Hey, listen, we got to go to break here. We got more stuff to get to. Alan Pupart will join us at 8 o'clock this morning. Old lefty on the tennis court. Got that serve coming into your backhand. Very difficult to deal with. Hey, I'll tell you what, who's not hard to deal with and you're going to like. Let's talk about that injury. Let's talk about a slip and fall. Let's talk about an automobile accident where all of a sudden you're hurting and it wasn't your fault, even worse. And you want somebody to represent you that will keep you up on your case. It's really good, and he gets you a whole lot of money for the damage and how you're feeling right now. That's why I want to tell you about Harvey Cohn and Gary Judah, the partners of Cohn and Judah Injury Law Firm, personal injury attorneys in Plantation, but listen, working all over South Florida. And I got to tell you, man, with 30 years of experience, big enough to go to trial and get you multi-million-dollar results, small enough just to call you back. Going to go have a tequila with them next week. I love talking to those guys. Well, first of all, they love our teams down here, especially the Miami Dolphins, but also, man, they're passionate about what they do 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Yeah. How about having their phone number to be able to call them and get an update on your case, or they can always call you? Communication's important to these guys, and they want to let you know they don't do handoffs. They leave that for football. Handoffs, quarterback to running back. They don't do that. And I'm afraid right now some of these law firms that you really get excited about when you see that guy and he's got that sophisticated look and a guy that looks like he wins a lot, and you go, that's a guy I want to represent me, only to find out he doesn't even get involved in cases at all anymore. He's going to hand you off to somebody else that's been with the law firm for a year or two. Right out of law school there. And that's who's going to do it. And by the way, they're really good, but they don't communicate really well. Look, if you feel like a second-class citizen where you are right now in a law firm you've gone with, and you just don't feel like you're important to them, maybe they got too much on their plate, or now that you found out the truth, you need Harvey Cohn and Gary Judah. I'm telling you right now, go to ConanJudah.com and read the reviews. These are guys that you can always get a hold of. They're going to handle your case. There's nobody else to do it. They will get it done for you, and you're going to be really happy. I want you to go to ConanJudah.com or go to 866-FAIR-FEE. And remember this, they don't pay other lawyers to do the work you hired them to do.
If it's going down, you know we on it. If it's going
And listen to WQAM on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Get ready. Poker and simulcast. Plus, new.
This hour is brought to you by Baptist Health.
And now, it's time for Hollywood's headlines. Without further ado, here's Hollywood.
All right, Woody. We're sitting here watching the Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
About 20 times. And listen, it was a cheap play. It was a cheap shot. Completely cheap shot. I don't know what they're going to do, though. I don't know what the league's going to do.
Like, I know there's no game
get
two.
Fined.
There's no game two where you can go out and hurt the guy, but he could, if you suspend him, that would certainly hurt his team.
He literally
the best case scenario now.
Grabbed his leg at the perfect time where it wasn't planted, where he could flip it, and basic whatever, he is 240, 250 pounds to flip him.
Not the first time, by the way. He's done this before.
Yeah, he got him running down after
a
score, got him running the other way down the court. Yeah.
What a pathetic play. All right, anyway. We got Shams on McAfee here, Joe, talking about this situation with the Milwaukee Bucks. And I guess the Bucks have been they've been talking about his reporting and criticizing his reporting. So here's listen to this clip.
We're kind of similar where we were last year as far as Giannis, as far as last summer, where the Bucks will get a bunch of calls. They're going to get a bunch of offers. They already went through negotiations for Giannis in February as far as trade talks. They're probably going to revisit a lot of those same conversations with teams like Minnesota and Golden State and Miami and the Knicks. We'll see how the playoffs shake out. That's going to have a big part in all this. But listen, the reality of everything in Milwaukee is this. If they spent as much time dealing with their own internal dynamics and problems as they do responding to accurate reports, they wouldn't be in the mess that they're in right now. I'm just focused on doing the job at the highest of levels that I possibly can.
Okay, so Doc leaves. You spit a bar that you've been thinking of saying for a long time right now about wow.
Here, I got one more for you. All right. So I watch some documentaries from time to time. I saw one on Fire Festival, right? And so the part we're at now is when everyone wants to run and you're doing the cover up. And again, it's totally fine. Jeez. I'm just here to document and cover it the right way. And I feel like we've done an unbelievable job tracking everything. And at the end of the day, the last month and a half, we've seen it. The player in Giannis has been feuding with his own team about whether he can play or not. He wants to play. He feels he's cleared to play. He told the NBA, he told the NBPA, the union, that he's healthy and can play. They felt that the Bucks did not want to clear him. And my understanding is Giannis was told that it's upper management's decision not to allow him to play. And so how that plays out, the NBA is still looking into the situation. We'll see what comes of that or doesn't come of that.
In a year filled with tanking problems for the NBA, now you got one of its biggest stars coming out saying, it's happening.
I can play. I'm healthy, but I've been shut down for multiple weeks by my team because my team wants to position for draft lottery.
I guess.
Ooh. I can hear Adam Silver, the commissioner, saying, oh, now I got this. By the way, the owners hate it when it gets thrown back on them. No. I don't care. We ain't trying to win one or two games. We want percentages in a lottery pick, buddy. High lottery pick.
That commissioner's got problems. Have you seen this WNBA commissioner, by the way?
No.
She's got, you talk about problems. Boy, that thing is a mess.
Oh, no, they just got a hell of a lot more money.
She just got hit. I would have time for it now, but she got hit with a question. They asked her about, how long she thinks she'll keep her job or whatever. And she, snapped back at the female reporter was like, would you ask this to a man? And she was like, yes, I would. And then everyone else pointed out how all the other commissioners have been asked the same exact question. And that's not a good situation. Anyway.
You're saying there's a lot of drama out there, Woody, a lot of drama.
Speaking of that, Joe, Lionel Messi has been sued over no shows at exhibition games. This is part of a couple of friendlies he was supposed to play in for Argentina.
Is this where the fans are mad because they bought the tickets? And
well, I think it's like a promotions company. I think it is it's a Miami-based company that puts on large-scale music and sporting events. They are the ones suing him for breach of contract and fraud and all this other nonsense. And
Messi's got a lot on his plate. Everybody wants a piece of Messi.
As far as, people getting screwed by Messi, welcome to the club, my friends.
Hey.
Not the first time, not the last time.
I got to tell you, we just talked about this with the older guys in the NBA, man. He's not going to be able to play in every game.
No.
And if he does, he'll break down, and then you won't see him at all. And I'm kind of defending the guy.
I got hosed by Messi.
Hey,
these games,
he's 38 years old. He can't play every game. He ain't going through this whole season and playing every game, plus playing in friendlies and getting ready for the World Cup.
I just think
Not
people
gonna
just
happen.
want, them to be upfront with it. If they know he's not going to play, don't
All right,
promote on social media that he's
They can do a better job with that. I agree.
Because that product without
All
him.
right, so you're right on that. But if anybody
not
thinks
the
he's
best.
gonna play every game, it's
All right.
he's been better, hell of a lot better than I thought he was. I didn't think he was gonna play at this level when he got here. I thought he was gonna go around and shake hands and kiss babies and give them 5 minutes and have an occasional goal. I didn't know he was going to be the best player in the league. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You want to give us a quick comment here? Diana Rossini. She quit before they could fire her, I guess. It was one of those deals, and she was, upset with all the things people were saying and this and that. And I don't know, man. They're still going to. They came out of the Athletics, said they're still going to investigate this thing because
What they
the
want,
whole
man.
journalistic integrity.
So
deal.
here's the problem. The next step is they're going to find out if it happened that somebody's going to break down and go, all right, I've been sleeping. I mean,
I just don't know what happened with her
Why?
initial story that this was innocent, nothing happened.
but
Like
now
if that's the truth, then
I don't
why
know,
would you
man.
stick it out? But I don't
Shouldn't we just be down right now to just leave it alone? It's kind of between husband and wife now, right? Or are we just trying to bury it where, look at, there were mistakes
don't
made. I don't know if everybody, I'm guessing that not everybody in relationships was honest about where they were going to be. Probably.
Yes, but I do. I think that it's bad for female reporters because they don't want that.
That I'm
image.
sleeping
That's
around
how we
to
get our stories.
Yeah, that's bad. I agree.
So I think there's a few layers.
So
to it.
should she be fired? I mean, she's destroyed.
Well, she quit before they could fire her, apparently. But
she's hoping this thing probably go away. Enough.
And then our final one here, Joe. Our governor is on a hot streak of renaming airports here. The Tallahassee International Airport will now be named after former FSU head coach Bobby Bowden. So it'll be the Bobby Bowden Tallahassee International Airport.
I like that.
If you ever have to fly to Tallahassee for some reason.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Flown out of there a few times, getting in and out of there. I like that.
Have you?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I was up there a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I had a child there, and I went up to a lot of those games when they had us covering. Used to go up early.
Dude, coached there for a long time, 76 to 2009. Couple of national championships.
It's really
12
hard.
ACC championships.
I was a big fan of Bobby. He was good to us, man. Came on all the time, and he was great.
Yeah.
Like, how you not gonna let that guy into the front door when he was recruiting your kid? Best pie I've ever had. Best pie I've ever had. Never had anything like this.
Times have changed over there, though, apparently. So
all right, so now
Be
you
lucky.
got your.
See if maybe they get the
No,
four wins this year and increase their win total by double.
You got your. You are. You know
We
what?
have to talk to that guy one last time at the ACC kickoff thing. That Norvell.
He is all yours.
God.
I wish he had just a little bit more personality. Hey, we got to go now, but don't worry, man. Those trustees, boy, I hate their deal with the ACC. I don't hear them whining anymore. Hey, right now we got to go to break here. We got Atlantic Men's Clinic and ED and Low T to tell you about. Let's just get to the ED thing. Guys it's funny. Men don't have a problem with low T. They know they have it, but it's like, I can work around it. Sure, I'm tired on my energy level, and I don't mind gaining some weight. I'm just not active, but, neither a lot of the other guys my age. But the ED thing gets your attention. When your sex drive is gone, that's a hard one. That can really mess with you. You talk about depression and breakups and arguments and why is this happening? Is there something going on? And you know, where you used to look forward to a night out and having a great night and finishing up in bed, and now all of a sudden that's gone. It's really a hard one. If you're going through it, man, it doesn't have to be that way. Atlantic Men's Clinic wants to let you know they got so many great programs for you to knock it out quickly. And they can almost guarantee they're going to get rid of it for you. And I'm telling you right now, here's what you have to set up. You go to Atlantic Men's Clinic, first class, unbelievable place. Been going for 2 years. And yes, I was a member of the low TED family. I was full blown, by the way, not part. Not, well, sometimes, well, not me. I've been very honest about this problem. And I am glad that it's gone because I've enjoyed my life with my wife a lot more. And I could tell you, I want to make sure ED is not ruining your relationship right now. And if you're going through it, set up that first appointment. You get the PSA test. You meet with their professional staff. They explain everything to you. And then they put you on a program that is specifically made for you to have great results quickly. That's what it's all about. 7 locations in South Florida serve you. Brand new one in Hollywood. I go to Plantation, and I'll be there on Thursday, either Thursday, Friday, every week. I love going to that place. I love the people. They're great. They talk to you about it. They police your program to make sure you're getting great results. Call 877-455-7300. Set up that first appointment. It's important. You don't have to tell me you have ED or low T. I don't really care. But if you do care and it's bothering you and you've been carrying this around for a while, and you and your girl know, well, do something about it. 877-455-7300. Get that first appointment. Go in there, get the test done. Hey, you'll be off and running in no time. Visit AtlanticMen'sClinic.com.
And it is time to head out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 in Hollywood and Toyota of Hollywood.com, Joe.
All right, Woody, with the 11th pick, the Miami Dolphins select. I'll forget that right now. We got a week for that. Alan Pupart, SI.com Dolphins, and the All Dolphins podcast. Caught it with Perk. And always enjoy Alan Pupart, who's been around with the Miami Dolphins going way, way back. I always say that when people are talking about different guys. And I go, Alan Pupart has seen the good and the bad and the bad and the bad. Alan Pupart, how are you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. You can't leave out the mediocre. I've seen the good, the bad, the mediocre, the mediocre.
All right.
All right, Joe.
I got you. Hey, by the way, before we get going on everything, we got these 7 picks in the first 3 rounds, 11 overall, and let's make sure we take care of Malik and give him a chance, still make this offensive line, this guard tackle a priority, as well as finding a wide receiver too. Are you with me at the top of the priority list on a team that's got a lot of holes on it?
I am not. In fact, I wrote about this on the website, Miami Dolphins on SI.com. My point is why I don't subscribe to that theory and respectfully disagree with you, my friend. First of all, what separates the good from the great quarterback in 2026 is the ability to make something out of nothing. If the requirement is that, you get pieces strictly to make Malik Willis's life easier, you might be doing a disservice for the entire organization. Let's get good players regardless of who the quarterback will be. If Malik Willis is going to be somebody who can make things happen when things around him aren't great, we will find that out. We will see that. And I point to as examples in the story I wrote, Josh Allen and Drake May in their first year as starters.
Yeah,
remember
I do remember Drake May. That was the worst that was the worst roster I've ever seen offensively that he played with. Yes.
Yeah,
bad.
and his numbers were poor. And if you just went by that, it's like, oh, did the Patriots make a mistake? Except that if you saw the guy play, you saw flashes here and there, like, oh, that guy's going to be good once he gets. Okay, so to me, the same principle applies to Malik Willis. And also, we have gone 6 years now where a lot of the decisions, to the detriment, I would say, of the overall good of the organizations, were made to maximize what you had at quarterback because of the investment you had made in the 2020 NFL draft. For example, do the Dolphins draft Jalen Waddle and not Penei Sewell or Patrick Surtain too, or Micah Parsons in 2021 with the 6th pick if they're not trying to get everything out of Tua? Do they make the trade for Tyreek Hill in 2022 if it's not all about making sure, we maximize Tua? So I think the Dolphins, again, grab the best player. They have, like you mentioned, they have enough needs that they basically don't need to worry about this notion of addressing a need. Grab the best player.
Yeah, it's I see what you're saying. And listen, there's holes everywhere. And if we get a pass rusher and he ends up with 12 sacks and a zillion pressures and plays the edge really well, of course, nobody's going to say something. And if we get a cover corner goes out there and plays really well, and you can tell he looks like Don McNeil his first year, I got you, man. I'm not disagreeing with that. But at the same time, we can't sit and have people calling in every day ripping Malik as he's running around playing with absolutely nothing around him, and we don't still try to do a better job on this offensive line, which I think they will make it a priority. The guard tackle thing, I do believe they'd like to find somebody that's flexible that can play both to cover Austin Jackson's injury history as well as get better at guard. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if 11 arrives and you're staring at Francis Mauigoa, and there's some who prefer Spencer Fano from Utah at 11, and the Dolphins have decided that's their best guy, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah, that's fair. That, by the way, that's more than fair. Hey, the other thing I wanted to get to while we're talking about all these positions and the first draft of John Eric Sullivan coming up, which is huge considering what this team's had to do. I know you guys talked to it, and everybody's been talking about this rebuild thing, and you're asking. So there was 2 parts, and I heard Perk talking about this. So the first part is, of course, every guy, they don't care. Every guy that signed here, the cheap free agents we got, they want to play and get their stock back up and try to win, and they get it. Not one guy is going, wow, I can't believe I signed here knowing that this is going on. Like, that's not an issue. You got a bunch of guys that are pissed wherever they've been. They got a chip on their shoulder. They want to show everybody they can play. And this is 1 year tryout for them to show not only the Dolphins, but the league, they can get their value back up, because most of them that they're signing are 26, 27-year-old guys that hadn't worked out, or they dropped or didn't play as much. So I wasn't surprised for anybody surprised. And by the way, it is a rebuild. There's no question about it being a rebuild. I'm with you. I saw you said that. And the money and the dead money and everything they did, absolutely right now, nobody can tell us we're building this roster. It's probably the worst roster right now, and trying to build it back up.
No, without question. I mean, you got rid of your 7 most high-profile players. You signed nothing but guys to 1 year minimum salary contracts, but you're not rebuilding, really. And here's the other question too: is how many of the guys they signed this offseason are still going to be with the team when the Dolphins are ready to compete? And probably not a ton. And it's basically 2019 all over again, where they're looking at a lot of different places, see if they can come up with a keeper here or there, like they were able to get with Zach Sealer in 2019. That's what's happening. And the draft has to be a big part of it as well, you know?
Yeah, let me ask you, what free agent, just looking at what everybody's done, almost everybody's got kind of the same story, right? I mean, different positions, but kind of the same story. They were all drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round, and they've had their moments in the league where they've played well, and for whatever reason, injury or something, it's dropped back. They didn't play as much last year, and all of a sudden, you know, they're looking to get their stock back up here. Who would that one player be for you?
Oh, man. Yeah, I looked at the list. There's not a ton that jump out at me and go, oh, yeah, that one I keep an eye on. I'll give you one each on each side of the ball. Offensively, I might look at maybe Salyer. And again, he was, once Joe Alt got hurt, he was the best of the Chargers offensive linemen, understanding it was an absurdly low bar. But in what I've seen from him in the Chargers games I saw, I think he's got a possibility.
I do too. That's a good call, by the way, because they were down about, offensive linemen 8, 9, and 10 when they played us. I mean, they were playing with guys off the street, and I thought he's pretty good in that game the Chargers beat us. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, and then defensively, maybe David Ojabo, because he had that one big year at Michigan before he came into the draft, and then tears his Achilles at his pro day. Maybe he recaptures that form at some point. But again, there's not a whole lot. Like I said, I don't expect a ton of those players to be around when the Dolphins are ready to compete.
You know, I really like, soon as they went through it and they got here and they went through everybody, that Dulcich is back. I think Dulcich got big upside as a pass receiver. I got him in a 50-plus catch. I think that probably even changed their thoughts on the importance of a young tight end. I'm not saying they don't draft one, but I think they know, and they've watched him, that how good he is as a receiver. And what he did, even yards after catch last year, he's really good.
Yeah, no, he was a 3rd-round pick coming out of UCLA. Didn't pan out in Denver, and then when the Giants released him after the cuts to 53 last year, I spoke to somebody who covers the Giants, and she was completely bewildered by why they would let him go, because she said he was their best tight end, and you can see it.
Yeah, from day one. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you about Savaianaya. That's going to pop up. Had a rough year, played a lot. A lot of guys think, hey, the more he plays, Bo's a big fan, that he's going to get this thing turned around and become a really good guard. When this thing starts, and I don't know what's going to happen in the draft, but they are going to do something with the guard position. They're not done. Do you see him as a starting left guard, right guard, or coming off the bench?
Yes.
I know some people are saying he should move back to the right guard, that he's more comfortable, and I'm going, well, hell, he's been left guard now for a year. He's got to be used to that by now.
Correct. I mean, what's going to happen is the coaches are going to start him off at left guard. They're going to evaluate him, look at him hard, and then at some point they're going to have a little confab and go, yeah, no, not going to work out at left guard. Let's try my right guard. And then they're going to take a long look at him at right guard. And if it doesn't pan out, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have to bite the bullet and, admit it's not going to work out. But he's going to be given every single opportunity. And I understand that notion of like, well, he's not their guy. They're not the ones who drafted him. Sure, but he's also a second-round pick.
Yes.
Who you gave a 4-year fully guaranteed contract because that's the way things turned out, the second-round picks last year. So they're not going to give up on him easily. But they logically should start him at left guard.
Yeah. I think he's got a chance as long as your mental makeup is there and you hope he comes back and he's seen everything now. And listen, it hadn't been like everybody knows it wasn't all great for sure. To put it nicely, there were a lot of growing pains in there from the start to the end of the season for sure. That you think he's got a chance from you've talked to him and been around him that he can get this thing figured out and be a good solid guard?
Growing pains is being very, very polite, Joe. That's not like you. No, he absolutely has the right frame of mind that he's a willing worker and all that. What we saw last year is like some really, really, really poor technique.
Yes.
And then it's going to come out to, is he bad coach? Is it going to come instinctively to him where he can know all his technique all we want, but at the instant it happens and it happens fast, is the instinct to make the correct move going to kick in at some point? And yeah, I'm going to be optimistic, but until I see it, I'm going to be a little nervous about it, a little queasy about it.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about another topic, quarterback. And we got Willis, of course, as a quarterback. How important and where do we draft the quarterback, or do we draft the quarterback, since there's been all this talk about we always need to draft the guy, we got to have competition, and Quinn Ewers is clearly the backup right now. Where is that priority for you?
It's not very high. I mean, they made a commitment to Willis for the next 2 years. The notion of taking Ty Simpson at 30 or even in the second round, if you so felt like that, or you traded up for him, like I see guys in the third round. I mean, what's the point if you're going to get another guy? Like if you get a guy with limited, I wouldn't say limited, but a certain ceiling in terms of athletic traits, Gareth Nussmeier from LSU, for example, doesn't he become a little bit redundant with Quinn Ewers, who's got all the intangibles, is still a little bit limited athletically? If you're going to swing for a quarterback, to me, do it late and pick somebody with freakish athletic traits.
Yeah.
And who's got a shot. And on top of that, the guy I have in mind also so happened to have been coached for 1 year at Boise State by the Dolphins' new quarterbacks coach, Bush Hamden. Of course, I'm referring to Taylor Green from Arkansas.
Right. Yeah. Great athlete. Hey, so yeah. I want to ask you, with everything being the same in this draft, when we pick at 11, and I don't know, their board's going to be a little different than all the mock drafts, and they've been studying. Nobody has the same board up, I'm sure, feel a little differently about every guy. Everything being equal, and you need a cover corner or two. You need a pass rusher or two. That guard tackle is important. And I'm missing a position here that's also important to this team. But of those four positions, which one's a priority for you if everything's even, that you go with the 11th pick?
Well, that's the problem, is it's going to depend on who's there. And to me, the biggest thing I would have liked to see the Dolphins be able to address is give me a stud defensive end, pass rushing defensive end. And David Bailey's not going to be there. Ruben Bain Jr., I'm sorry, scares me. I don't care how good he was at UM. The history is just not there for pass rushers with short arms. And the Dolphins are not in a position where they can shoot for a guy who might have a very, very high ceiling, but also the floor is lower than other guys. Short of that, just give me a guy who can be an impact core player. I think I heard you mention that earlier today. The Dolphins have 7 of the first 94 picks. It'll be a great draft if they land 4 full-time starters.
Yes.
I'd like them. I'm going to go be a little more greedy. I'd like to have 2 impact foundational players. I don't know if they get that 11, because I have 4 guys that really, or 3 or 4 guys that jump out to me, like Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles will be some of those guys. Give me Mansour Delane. Any of those guys going to be there 11? Not sure. I would then, if those 3 guys are gone, I'm okay. I'm good with Maui Noah at 11. but he's even going to be there himself,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Fano and Maui Noah as well, which because different people are higher on one guy over the other and their flexibility. That could they both be gone? Considering, man, it seems like every time I'm doing a game and you're watching games and we're sitting there, we're talking about everybody being shorthanded on the offensive line. Isn't that amazing? Like almost not everybody, but just seems like nobody. And I'm not just talking about a starting five. Very seldom starting five stay healthy all season, at least here, that you got to get into 6 and 7 and sometimes the 8th one. And it just comes up short. Like we talked about the Chargers last year. I mean, my God, they were down to grabbing guys off the practice squad who had just signed on the practice squad to be starters. And so I wonder where that.
Joe, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of fans just keep dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping on the Dolphin offensive line and how bad it's been and all that. And I'm like, guys, watch games around the league. There's an awful lot of bad O-line play going around. It ain't just the Dolphins.
I'm with you 100%. Everybody thinks it's not just here. And so anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We haven't talked about the wide receiver position. 7 picks in those first 3. Would you be shocked if I said 2 of them are going to be wide receiver?
I would not, but I would be a very unhappy Dolphin reporter if they picked a wide receiver at 11. I just don't like the value there unless you're guaranteeing me Jamar Chase or that kind of complete stud. The difference between your top guy in this class and maybe even your 6 or 7 guys just nearly that significant that you should invest your first pick at 11. And I see like a lot of mocks at Mekhi Lemon at 11, who was very productive guy at USC, who was like an Amon-Ra St. Brown clone.
Yeah.
You're going to tell you can't get a wide receiver of similar impact at 30 in the second round, in the third round. Yeah, that would bother me. It wouldn't bother me if the Dolphins did pick 2 of the first 7. Again, just give me a supply of good players.
Hey, Alan, I want to ask you about Chop Robinson, who, to me, coming back as a guy, and I know it's been a couple drafts now. He's going into his 3rd year. What do you expect from him? I know the coach has said all the right things. I can't wait to work with him. He's got that great, they all say, great first step, which we're going, okay, great. What do you expect from Chop? He gets another fresh start to show that he can be the guy as a pass rusher.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that dude, if I'm going to be honest about it. My expectations are nothing more than cautious optimism. The fact that he actually took a step back in his 2nd season after closing out his rookie year very well was highly, highly, highly concerning for me. I just don't know if he's not going to be one of those guys like that's just never going to pan out.
Yeah.
He looks the part, but just something's missing.
Well, I think we learned a little bit, Alan. I think you're from the same school. Don't get me a guy that works out, looks great at his workouts, and you look at his numbers his last year, and there's not a whole lot of numbers there. That scares me. I don't want to hear about upside and potential and needs to be coached up and all that stuff. And the second one is guys always hurt in college. Please, if they're missing 4 or 5 games and all of a sudden they're going to be healthy in the pros, they only hit they come faster and hit harder. I don't know about that. I don't want those guys either. You with me on those 2 parts?
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm still having flashbacks to 2015 when the Dolphins took a wide receiver, had a foot injury, bad enough, screw inserted in his foot, and lo and behold, there was injury after injury after injury for Devontae Parker. Generally speaking, what's the Bill Parcells line? No, if you don't bark as a puppy, you're not going to bark as a dog or something. This is why you watch the tape. You can get an idea what kind of player you're going to get.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on this morning, Alan. Thanks, bud. I appreciate all your stuff and disagreeing with me. I like that. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep working. We got to get out in tennis. You're playing doubles, man. Not, I'm a lonely man out there trying to play singles. All right, Alan Pupart, SI.com Dolphins, and the Old Dolphins podcast joining us this morning. We're not done. Tony Pauline, NFL draft analyst, is going to join us coming up. We're going to talk to him in just a few minutes, and we'll get into some things with him. But first, before we do, I want to talk about Loctite. Yeah, Chev. Yeah, you going, Joe? Listen, man, we got to let people know. Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing. Hurricane season's right around the corner, man. Whether it's an old leaky roof that's bothering you, whether you haven't done your windows or your doors, and what are you doing, man? Hey, listen, we got great products withstand 140-mile-per-hour winds. Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing provides 100% financing and zero down. Hey, Loctite Impact Windows, Doors, and Roofing, no interest, no payments for a year. You need roofing materials, tile, shingle, metal flat, they do it all. They got a great roofing part of their company ready to take care of you, and they got a part that just does repairs 24/7 for you. So if you just need some repairs to get you through the next few months, hey, they'll come out and take care of you there too. Impact Windows, low as $6 per month per window installed. Don't wait for the next storm. They do it all for you from start to finish, covering all of South Florida. They'll take care of the permits and HOA approvals and all the other hassles that you're going to go through. They'll go through for you. Licensed and insured contractor, ready to take good care of you, the official Dolphins window and doors partner. Hey, check them out. All you have to do is go to LoctiteImpact.com. Again, LoctiteImpact.com. Or you can call old schoolers, 954-500-LOCK. They got a great staff, ready to answer all your questions.
WQAM invites you to salute America's heroes this morning.
how people see these players.
Hey, I got to ask you, there's been a lot of talk because of the guard tackle thing, and maybe I'm pushing here to sound like a cheerleader for to push on the offensive line. Fano and Maui Noah kind of get the guard tackle title on both of them a lot. You like one more than the other out of Utah and, of course, Miami Hurricane?
I like Fano better simply because I think he can make the transition to left tackle, and I put a premium on left tackles. I don't think Maui Oga can play left tackle. I think he's going to be a very good right tackle. But Fano, even with the arms that came in slightly shorter than 33 inches, I think he has the ability to transition to the left side, which I put a lot of credence in.
So the Dolphins, as of right now, have really, through trades and picks, they have a lot in that second day, as I just mentioned before I introduced you. You feel good that they can get, especially with 4 in the third round, a lot of third-round picks in the 80s and 90s there. What can they find value and potentially find a couple of starters?
Well, yes, because they have so many holes on the roster. So, there's a lot of they need a lot of players to fill holes. So they should be able to come away with starters. I think that, it's a good edge rushing class. If they don't go edge rusher early, they may be able to get a good edge rusher in that area. There's a good awful ball linebacker class. I'd like to see them get some offensive linemen. You mentioned Maui Oga. I don't know that it's a great tackle class. And they should be able to get some receivers in those middle rounds as well, and possibly a tight end. So I think they'll be able to get good players in those areas. I don't know if they're going to be star players. That's why they're third and fourth rounders.
Right.
But you look at where the depth of this draft is and the needs that team has. They should be able to get come away with players that are going to be starting in 2026 for them.
Well, there's no question about that. Like you said, a lot of them are going to get a chance to get their feet wet and go through the growing pains. We saw it last year, and we're going to see a lot more of it this year. Wide receiver, Waddle gone, obviously. Tyreek Hill gone. They're looking for guys, man, not only inside, but guys on the outside that can play, and that potentially second-round pick as well as the third-round picks. You got a couple of guys you like that could fall into that area.
Well, if they're looking at it long-term, you got to consider Chris Bell of Louisville. I mean, he's a big, fast guy. He's a terrific receiver. He had a great season in 2025 until he hurt his knee in November. Now, physically, he's ahead of schedule, but that doesn't mean he's going to be in football shape. But again, I'm sure they're looking to be competitive in 2026 and then take it from there and move forward. So a guy like Chris Bell, who may take a bit of time to get ready, is someone you got to consider. Dejuan Stribling of Mississippi by way of Oklahoma State, 6'2", 206, ran a 4.36 at the combine, which is almost 0.2 faster than anybody thought. He's an outstanding receiver. Didn't have a great year productive-wise, but that's also someone that you got to consider. Third round, Elijah Surratt of Indiana, a big possession receiver. Jeremy Bernard of Alabama, a great route runner and a guy that's got very reliable hands. So there will be receivers there for them in rounds 2, 3, and even 4.
Let's talk about the University of Miami. They're pretty excited. I know the head coach and some of the coaching staff will be at the first round. Let's talk about Mesidor. Got the great Ben. I saw a lot of comments about you watch him and you don't know anything about him. You're going, holy smokes. You like him in the first round, or you think age or some things could hold him into the second round?
If he goes first round, I think he's going to go late first round by a team that needs an edge rusher. Edge rusher is a priority position. In a passing league, the way you stop the pass is get somebody to disrupt the quarterback, and Mesidor can do that. And he's been a good player for a while. He's not just a one-year wonder. He had some injuries which disrupted his career, but he's been a solid player. The thing about Mesidor, he's 6'3", 259 pounds. I don't know, are you going to stand him up over tackle? Are you going to have him come out of a three-point stance? He never tested before the draft, considered to be a 4.8 guy. You mentioned the age, which means he doesn't have a lot of upside. He's probably at his peak, but still he plays a priority position. I like him more as a second-round prospect. I could see him sliding into the late part of round 1.
Tony, I wanted to ask you, I'm glad you brought that up because I know University of Miami, after playing the 4 playoff games and going to the finals and coming up just short, they felt strongly for those guys. Get yourself in shape, get ready to go. Your tape, that the way you played against all the good teams in the Big Ten and SEC, that'll speak for it. Do your interviews and stuff, but don't worry about the workouts. And that was kind of Jason Taylor is very clear on that, the Hall of Fame defensive line coach. How much do you think that hurts guys going, hey, man, you got to watch my tape. I'm beat up. I'm going to get myself ready to go, but you got to look at my tape. I'm not going to run and jump and do all that stuff.
But it depends. Again, Reuben Bain, 6'2.5", 263 pounds. These guys aren't, 6'5.5", 270-pound monsters. Yeah, and yes, you need to look at the tape. But when you're a quote-unquote smaller type of edge rusher, teams want to get marks on you. Teams want to get testing grades on you. You look at Keontae Scott. I mean, similar situation. And what did he do? He ran a 4.33 at pro day.
Flying, yes.
So he's got decent size. He's got, he's got the smarts. He's got solid ball skills facing the action. And by the way, he ran a 4.33. So I mean, unless there's an injury, I understand what Jason Taylor's saying. And, you don't want to push it. It's a long season. If there's injuries, you've got to be ready for camp. That's something to consider, working out versus being ready for camp. But, it could be the difference between a guy going, 5 or 6 picks earlier if he gets a good testing mark down.
Do you have a clear-cut third quarterback in this draft? I think we all agree, and maybe if you don't, let me know. Mendoza and then Simpson. Do you have a third guy, right? Is there a clear-cut guy, or could be one of 3 or 4 guys that goes the third guy taken?
No, I got Garrett Nussmeier slightly ahead of Carson Beck. I think Nussmeier, Beck has been up and down. I think the difference between Nussmeier and Beck is, in my opinion, Nussmeier is going to be a career backup. Carson Beck, I think, has starting potential if he hits on all the cylinders, if he's coached correctly, if they're patient with him. But I've got Nussmeier slightly ahead of Carson Beck, and even Cole Payton of North Dakota State, who I think is more of a long-term prospect, a developmental prospect. Those guys, Beck and Payton, have starting potential. I don't see Nussmeier as a starter in the league.
Tony, next year, man, I know we said that about this year, and a bunch of guys ended up going back to college. But, man, this quarterback class next year, from the growth of guys that all went back at Oklahoma and Oregon and Texas, and I'm probably missing, of course, Texas saying no. Ole Miss also had a quarterback decide. Yeah. He got the judges all went in favor of those guys. I'm just curious, how do you look at potentially how good the quarterback class could be for next year?
Yeah, you missed Dante Moore of Oregon, and then there's Sorsby, the Cincinnati quarterback who transferred to Texas Tech. It looks good on paper, but you have to be careful because you know what? The 2027 quarterback class, you also forgot Lenore Sellers of South Carolina.
That's right.
That 2027 quarterback class, that was supposed to happen this year. Dante Moore went back. Arch Manning went back. Lenore Sellers didn't play well. Cade Klubnik of Clemson fell off the cliff. Even last year's class, you go prior to the 2024 season, people were gushing about Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck and Shedeur Sanders and Jalen Milroe. It didn't pan out. On paper, it looks like it could be really, really good. But, recent history has shown that if you're pushing off, you're not drafting a quarterback this year for what you could potentially get next year, you could end up looking very foolish.
I would love, before I go, because you've been doing this a long time, explain why we still have such a shortage of quarterbacks. And we talk more on these talk shows about quarterbacks than anything else. And it seems like every year, 5 or 6 teams either don't know if they have the guy they're hoping, or they just flat out know and they're waiting for the draft. They're just trying to get through the year. Why?
I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's coaching and development. You have a guy who's big, who can throw the ball, but he has to be coached properly. There's no coincidence that the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid, the San Francisco 49ers, Sean Payton, these guys know how to develop quarterbacks, whether it's Mr. Irrelevant that the San Francisco 49ers take with the last pick of the draft, whether it's Bo Nix that's overdrafted. They have the formula to develop quarterbacks, and that is so key. Culture is part of it. Coaches sometimes get too involved. taking overdrafting quarterbacks. It's also that, it used to be where a quarterback would have time, 3 years to develop his craft. Now people want answers in 3 months, and they're ready to toss quarterbacks to the side and throw them. I mean, look what's going on in Minnesota. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's barely played one season, and they're ready to kick him to the curb.
Right. No, he's listen, he can't be real excited about the situation he's in right now. I agree with you 100%. Overall, before I let you run, deepest position for Dolphin fans listening right now. Make that 2. Your top 2 positions that of depth in this draft.
Edge rusher and off-ball linebacker. I think you're going to see a lot of edge rushers go in the first 2 rounds. You'll see some decent off-ball linebackers the first 45 picks. But when you get into rounds 3, 4, and 5, there's going to be a lot of off-ball linebacker prospects with starting potential on Sunday.
All right. Tony, as always, man, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know you're crazy. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
All right. Tony Pauline, NFL draft analyst at Essentially Sports. Check him out. He's been doing it for a long time. Kind of like South Florida Chevy dealers. They've been doing it for a long time. And you know what? It just gets better and better and better. Cars, trucks, SUVs, it doesn't matter, man. I've been driving a Tahoe for 20 years. And I got my friend out there right now, and I love driving them. And I will tell you, the SUV family, we brag about all the time from the SUVs. They all give you plenty of space, whether, I'm talking Suburban or Tahoe. If you want to go, we call it the baby Tahoe, the Traverse. Man, it's got a great look, too. Equinox, we got something for everybody. I mean, really, as good as we've been. And then over to the truck family, I got to spend time telling you about Silverado trucks. Whether it's a Silverado 1500, a Silverado HD, maybe it's a Colorado for you to get you around here in South Florida. Whatever it is, man, we make a truck that's strong and durable just like you are. Something you can depend on, whether it's work, whether it's family, or whether it's weekend entertainment with all your favorite toys out in the water, man. It doesn't matter. Pulling around, you need power. We got it for you. Durability every day, and great deals going on right now at your South Florida Chevy dealers. 14 dealerships throughout South Florida. If you're starting to look around, trust me, spend some time at your South Florida Chevy dealers. You got one close to you for a great experience. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
WQAM, broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass Auto Mall Studios. Ed Moore Sawgrass Buick GMC's entire inventory.
and slowing you down.
For April 17th, the casino at Dania Beach has it all. Enjoy new exciting promotions.
Joe, it's time for weather, brought to you by Tornado Roofing and Contracting, helping homeowners stay safe this storm season. Visit tornadoroofing.com for a free roof and window estimate. It is 74 degrees at the moment. There's a lot of clouds out there, although it's saying no rain on my end here. But
we had a lot of clouds lately with very little rain.
I don't think it rained yesterday,
no,
right?
It was good.
Right.
Beautiful day.
And we have Marlins tickets to give away whenever you're ready.
That's beautiful, too. So we got that coming up, 9 o'clock hour. April 15th, we don't say this a lot, April 15th, and the Panthers and the Heat seasons are over. I know what you're saying. Well, Joe, the Panthers play tonight. Yeah, but the season's over. There is no playoffs. The Heat also out after last night's game. It's funny listening to everybody and talking about the game last night. What a great game. And you can't be mad, but why don't they play like that all the time? Why don't they play with that passion? Nobody's even talking about Bam's injury. They're talking about the way they played and the games that everybody had going out the door, and Wiggins and Mitchell and Tyler Hero hitting some big shots, knocks down 3 big free throws and hits a corner 3. And he did miss a regulation 3, though, that was looking right at him for the win and couldn't knock down. But hell of a game. And but when you're a 10 seed, folks, this is what happens. You needed 2 wins to even get in the playoffs. We knew this one was going to be tough last night. Obviously, even playing the loser of the Magic 76ers game was going to be difficult too. You never know what's going to show up. But that game, if you're just an NBA fan and you stayed up and watched that, you were entertained. It had everything. End of regulation and end of overtime. Both teams had their chances. They were able to come back and hit shots, and saw some wild shot making last night. And some great performances. Khalil Ware, 12 points, 19 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Great stuff from him. And then, of course, the story that people are going to be talking about, and because we like drama with our sports, and we had plenty of that with what happened to Bam Adebayo. No flagrant foul, nothing. He got held. I mean, he grabbed his ankle. LaMelo Ball grabbed his ankle, and just the timing of it being in the air just flipped him right down on his back, and he didn't come back in the game. So he didn't even play in the second half and didn't finish the second quarter. And yeah, it was a cheap shot. I don't know if he's going to get suspended. They're going to be talking about it all day. No flagrant, and Spo, who was fired up about it, not pumped up, fired up, pissed off, doesn't know how everybody missed it. Nothing called flagrant, nothing was called on it. They couldn't review it. So that's the situation you're in. We got this 9 o'clock hour coming up. We got a lot of stuff. Got a big draft coming up next week, not only for the Miami Hurricane players, because there are going to be a lot of Hurricanes get drafted, trying to figure out where everybody's going to go. And then on top of that, the Miami Dolphins sitting with a whole bunch of draft picks. We'll have all that stuff coming up for you at the 9 o'clock hour right around the corner. But first, I got to tell you about Chill Zone. Chill Zone Air Conditioning Company. Oh, my gosh. I know you're tired and you're frustrated with air conditioning companies. Everybody is. They're like, I'm not going to them again. I'm not going. Here, I heard another guy go, I'm not going to that company again. Oh, that company's bad. Oh, my God, they're never on time. Charging for stuff. The guy came out. He had no idea what he was doing. He should have been, doing something else. He's terrible. And I'm like, all right, man. All right. Sounds like you're ready for that change. And I got the company, Chill Zone Air Conditioning. I got to tell you, the president of the company, Melissa De Verona, is fantastic. She takes the calls. She runs the show over there, man. The president, owner, been in the business, got a lot of loyal people, been on all those trucks for a long time. They're very good at what they do. For any kind of air conditioning problem you might have in South Florida, you're going to deal directly with Melissa, and you're going to be happy because they show up on time. There's no make-believe cost in there that you're like, where'd that come from? They deal with you the right way, man. You'll be dealing directly with the owner, whether it's a new air conditioning unit, whether it's repairs the one you have, whether it's duct cleaning, they do it all. They got a great staff of trucks out there to make sure you have a great experience and doing it the right way, man, the right way. Being on time with great people that are doing the work. 786-378-2778. Whether you need a new air conditioning unit, you know it's going to be hot. You're going to be calling an air conditioning company. I can tell you, 786-378-2778. Tell them that you heard it right here on 104.3 WQAM, chillzoneac.com. Stay chill with Chill Zone Air Conditioning.
If it's going down, you know we on it.
Riverdale, WQAM AM Miami, and Odyssey Sports Station. Home of the five-time national champion Miami Hurricanes, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, the three-time NBA champion Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes basketball, and now the new home of the two-time World Series winner Miami Marlins.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
This update is brought to you by Doral Kia. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia. Visit us at Doral Kia, DoralKia.com. Starting with the Heat, whose season came to an end after a 127-126 overtime loss to the Hornets. Bam left the game in the second quarter and did not return after he was ripped down by LaMelo Ball. Over to the Panthers, who will wrap up their season tonight when they host Detroit. The puck drops at 7 from Amarant Bank Arena. The game can be heard on 104.3 FM. And a baseball, the Marlins fell to the Braves 6-5. The teams will meet for the rubber match tonight with the first pitch at 7:15 from Truist Park in Atlanta. The game can be heard on 560 AM. And tonight the Hurricanes will host USF. Their first pitch is at 6 from Mark Light. The Joe Rose Show continues now.
Ball in to Ball. He curls around, scoops it, dances on the iron and in to make it a one-point game. Into Davion. He's and that's it. Bridges awarded the block, his third of the game, and it was right on time. The Heat season is done.
I didn't see it, but I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I think it's a stupid play. It's a dangerous play. Obviously, our best player is out. I'm not making an excuse. The Hornets played great, and they made those plays down the stretch. We had our opportunities to win. I just, that's a shame. He should be penalized for that. I don't think that belongs in the game. Tripping guys, shenanigans, and Curtis was there. It's his responsibility to see that. And if it's not his responsibility, then Zach's got to see it. If, somebody has got to see that, and that, he should have been thrown out of the game, for that. I don't know him from, anyone. There's no place in the game for that. Obviously, it took Bam out of the game.
I apologize on that one. I mean, I got hit in the head, didn't really know where I was, but I'm going to check on him and see if he's okay and everything.
LaMelo, it kind of looked like on film that you might have grabbed his leg. I mean, did you intentionally grab his leg?
I haven't even seen. Like I said, I got hit in the head, didn't even know where I was, but yeah, just playing basketball. But like I said, sorry, and I'm going to check on him.
All right, there you have it. A little combination of a pissed off Eric Spoelstra, and he should have been. As he said, his best player doesn't finish the game. Who knows? Maybe he blocks that shot by LaMelo Ball at the end. And I don't know how the officials missed it. Number one, whatever the name, Zach or Frank and Jack or whatever the Spo calling him by first name there. And LaMelo Ball, that was weak. I mean, that was just weak. The whole thing, I didn't know I did that. Like, oh, okay. So, well, I got to tell you, he went down hard. Bam went hard down on lower back and missed the game. And
the guy, I mean, fairness, he didn't know where he was, Joe. He apparently hit his head and just had no idea where he was. He just started reaching for stuff and happened to grab Bam's ankle and sweep it out from under him.
Just to have to get that one.
Yeah.
So anyway, I am curious to see. The league's going to fine him 100%. He's going to get fined. The question is,
I don't think anyone cares about fining though.
Will he miss the next game?
I think the bigger impact was he got torched on the offensive glass, those putbacks. Because Khalil Ware did all he could, but he's not the toughest guy in the world. Bam would have been a huge factor in that team not getting all those offensive rebounds.
Yeah. No question. No.
It's very disappointing. But yes, he needs to be not only suspended, but the fact that the Heat didn't have someone that they could put, a Udonis or someone like that they could take from the bench to, at the very least, just put this guy, put him down, right? You got to have a guy that can do that.
Yeah, well, those days are done with. It
I
sounds
know,
great. You
but-
sound like the old Pat Riley stuff, and it sounds great. It just doesn't happen anymore, man.
Riley
Very
was
seldom
there. He
happens.
should have ordered someone in there.
But just finished it up, man. You're
It's a
10
shame
seed.
to let a guy get away with that.
Well, the shame is you have to play in that game because you're a 10 seed. In the bigger picture of this is what happens when you're a 10 seed and you got to go play a 9 seed. That's what, one game better than you are at Charlotte. And listen, the effort was there. It was a great game to watch. It was a fun, really exciting game to watch. A lot of good things happened. You got some really good performances from Wiggins. Davion Mitchell was outstanding, 28 points. Hell, he might have played his best game in a Heat uniform. Hero had 23 at, I think, 7 at the half, so had a big second half, hit some big shots, knocked down 3 free throws and a corner 3, and both teams, man, it went back and forth. It was, if you're just an NBA fan going, I know these aren't the playoffs, but hell, this isn't bad. But anyway, end up losing that game in a wild one in overtime. You heard the highlights there from the end of the game and Jax's reaction. But season's over. That's
so
it.
Bam didn't speak either, by the way, after the game. I guess they're going to have their exit interviews next week at some point. I think Iris said like Thursday or something.
Yeah.
I guess that would be this week. But I wonder what he's going to – I don't know what he's going to say, Joe. Like, what more is there to say? It's just –
well,
it's incredibly disappointing for a guy to be able to do that and get away with it. And
well, I know this in the bigger picture of things. It's April 15th and the Panthers and the Heat. We haven't said this very often in recent years.
Both done.
Seasons are done.
I think they said the first time
over.
Heat lost an elimination playing game, right? They were 4-0 up to that point.
I think you're right. So, anyway.
We've become used to being in the
well, I'll tell you what, I'm not used to, hey, man, when I was at NBC, I felt like they were, hey, man, don't get your vacation until late June.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going deep into the playoffs. It was a guarantee.
It was usually the Heat. But
when the big three, the big three were rolling along there. And, late June. All right, Game 6 or Game 7, here we go. But April 15th, man, and it is
This is one of the least competitive eras of Heat basketball, right?
Yes.
I mean, they've had, they had the Dwayne era. Then before that, you had the, Zoe and Tim, Hardaway and those guys. And this era is just like,
remember the
very mediocre.
Was it a month ago maybe that we had a little bit of drama with UD off this show that was on last night.
Mm-hmm.
UD and D Wade, Bam was upset and they were taking shots back and forth. And honestly, D Wade was right. Like, hey man, start making shots at the end and don't look like a 500 team, and we won't talk about you that way. And they were just that. They were just that. They didn't get blown out last night. Again, they played their hearts out. They truly did. I mean, the effort was not the problem. And yes, Bam's there last night in the second half. You're probably going to win that game. But
it would be nice to have guys like Dwayne's in Utah, UD's in a TV studio. It'd be nice to have those guys a little closer to what's going on over there. I know they like to comment on it, but it's tough with Dwayne because he's not even. I mean, he's part of another team now.
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, that's business between Mickey and I don't know what the deal with UD. I thought UD was working with the team. I don't know if he still is because of the.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's too involved, right? I mean,
he's got a job now
stuff,
with he's with ESPN last year and did a good enough job that he got hired at the new start of Amazon Prime and their coverage. And everything. Anyway, man.
Texter said LaMelo was probably told by his loser father to do that.
Oh, my God.
Now, we spent a lot of time talking about that guy over the years.
Hey, isn't it funny? We don't hear. I said this morning, what's amazing about this whole Ball family thing? We don't hear. This is the only guy we hear from. The other brother kind of disappeared, the one that's injured all the time.
Well, there's 3 brothers.
Well, the other one
there's
never was good
Lonzo, and then
enough.
the other one, I think, went to jail in another country for stealing or something, right?
I don't know. Remember when
the
the father used to tell us they were all going to be like play together in LA and be really good, and then you find out like the third.
We started his own shoe company.
Third one, cause that was a disaster.
Remember?
You wore those, you're gonna blow out your ankle.
The Big Baller brand.
Yeah. Big Baller Up. Yeah, you're gonna be balling when you wore them.
LiAngelo is the other one. He's the one that played. I think he played for UCLA, right? And then he stole some stuff while he was.
I'll tell you what, man, LaMelo
somewhere.
ended up being a lot better. Remember that, his road to get there? Didn't he go away and go play somewhere and against grown men and came back and got scouted? And the scouts were going, no, he's going to be really good. And when he's healthy, and by far, he's the healthiest of all the Ball brothers. But I think his dad's had health problems. That's why we don't hear from him anymore.
Remember, he also, so now that I'm looking at all this, starting to click again. He started his own basketball league, the Junior Basketball Association. You remember that one?
I do. I forgot about it, but yes.
He tried to start his own league.
Hey, man, he was the story. He was going at it with everybody on TV and was going on shows. And didn't he want to fight guys? The old man would fight guys, and I'll play you one-on-one. And, oh, my God, it was just
boy, he's got a long page. A lot of stuff went down in his life.
Well, listen, I will tell you, this guy he's a good basketball player. LaMelo Ball's, he's a good player. He went the basket hard last night, ends up with 30 points in that game, besides the drama of the second half, whatever that BS play he made was. But apparently he's saying he hit his head and didn't know where he was. I don't know. He might not have known where he was, but he was smart enough to pick up and reach out.
By the way, never good when a star player has to get thrown on the bench late in the game because he can't play defense. You see that? They kept putting him in and out. The offense, defense thinks he's too slow. By the way, the Ball dad says he had his foot amputated, but he's okay now.
All right, well, that's good.
So he had diabetes or something like that, it looks like. So,
well, Woody, we got to get caught up here. We've been all over the place.
What a saga that whole thing was. The Big Baller brand.
They're the story every day.
Oh, my God.
Remember that? And
because
some of the
Stephen A.
players
and,
started getting
Skip
mad.
kept bringing the guy on.
The players started getting mad and going after certain guys, saying he's going to be better than you and you and you. And guys were laughing like, really? And then you go, wait till the third brother's coming up. You wait till you how good he is. I don't think he ever got out of the G League, did he?
By the way, this texture's right about Jaquez, and I thought the defensive play that he made at the end of the game was disastrous.
I
don't understand how that happened.
He got got a half a step behind the play, but
but that can't happen though.
I'm looking, and I think he was afraid to go up and try to block it because he thought he'd foul him.
But you can't over pursue like that though. That's like, I mean, that's
a bad
pretty
play.
Obvious.
It was a bad play. By the way, it's been bad defense all year from a lot of guys, and that was a bad play.
You can't over pursue there. You know you got a foul to give. I mean, the last thing you can do is give up a layup there. That's terrible. Very disappointing. He's got to know the situation a little better.
Maybe he thought he was going to get some help.
From who? From Bam that was in the locker room?
No, Kalel. Maybe he thought Kalel was going to.
I don't even know if he was in it in that play. But either way, like, you can't let the guy get right past you. Like, that's, if they didn't say that in the huddle, I don't know what they were talking about.
I'm guessing they didn't want to lose on a layup. Yeah. Good call. Not even a dunk, just laid it up.
Oh, you'd be like Tyler and chuck up a three with the game tied.
Yeah. Tyler didn't want to go for the layup. He decided.
No.
He's going to win it. He's going to go, hey, I was the 8, 7, 6.
That
Don't worry.
walk-off three is so much prettier than a walk-off two.
I appreciate that little pick you're doing at the top here, but I'm just going to go back and forth until We're
going to win. It's going to be on a three that I bomb from long range.
We're not interested in a 15-footer.
Those don't look as good.
We're going to break. We got to tell you about Baptist Health South Florida. It's fun to talk about our teams and the good and the bad and everything else. But the other part of sports, it is going to happen to all of us. If you're competitive, I don't care what age you are, how good athlete you are, skinny, fat, doesn't matter to me. Sooner or later, everybody gets injured. And then they're like, oh, gosh, who's got a really good sports medicine program? Well, you're lucky. South Florida's got Baptist Health South Florida. Doesn't get any better in that group. Wow. You talk about – and people, let's start with this because I get asked this, and probably you're wondering too. Where do the pros go when they get injured? Who takes care of the pro teams? Inter Miami, the Miami Heat, the Florida Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins trust that great group of doctors, specialists, some of the best in the business anywhere in the country. They've added some more, and I mean, they are good for knee, shoulder, foot, and ankle, hand, back, hip, and knee replacement, Achilles. We got specialists for every part of the body with great facilities throughout South Florida, including 595 and Pine Island Implantation. Broward, you're covered, man, and it is great place to go and easy to get to right off 595. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho. One go every day, man. Team or individual sports, doesn't matter. It's about getting you back out playing the sports you love the most.
736.
Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
This report is brought to you by the Casino at Dania Beach. Get ready for Ginger Billy Live at Stage 954, April 17th. The Casino at Dania Beach has Casino at Dania Beach.
Time for your stock market report brought to you by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Market opens shortly here, Joe. The S&P up 5 points. The Dow futures up 61 points. So there you go on that. And then you and I were discussing this during the break here, that pool report that the referees put out. So they said as far as the play with Bam, the play wasn't whistled in real time. Play continued with a fast break. And because play wasn't stopped immediately and there was no whistle on the play, the window to review the play was closed.
So the question is, how'd you miss it in real time is a $1
That would be the
million question. It wasn't some
apparently because play went on, you're not allowed to go back and look.
But you're always following the basketball, and Bam had the basketball. He had gotten the ball.
Think.
And somehow they don't see that. They're just watching the ball, and even if you're watching to see if Bam's going to be inbounds or out of bounds as he's catching the ball, somebody got to be looking at that point and seeing LaMelo grab his ankle. Anyway, so nobody calls it, so now they can't stop play, and so nothing happens. No flagrant foul. Nobody gets booted. They don't go back and review it and, potentially, rule on it with something. There will be a fine. You agree there's going to be a fine?
Well, a fine's irrelevant.
Well, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I know how you feel. You want blood. You want 20 years in prison. I'm just saying I don't know if he's going to get suspended or not.
Well, I mean, I would either have a suspension or I would have liked to see someone come off the Heat's bench and, break both of his legs. But nevertheless, Joe, we do have tickets to give away.
All right.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
We got the Marlins playing the Brewers on April 18th. It is hockey day. A free Marlins hockey jersey while supplies last. You have to buy that, hockey package, though, that they have. So go to their website there, marlins.com/promotions. I'll have it there for you. But we got 4 tickets to give away. Caller number, what do you want to do? 5.
It was going to be something. I was going to be a smart ass about something. I don't want to do that.
Caller number 5, 305-567-0560. We'll get you all set up there.
You had the game with
I don't know, man.
You had 5 seconds left to win the friggin' game and not get it blocked. I can't get on that guy. That guy, Davion Mitchell, played. Hey, man, Davion Mitchell's play. When we got him with the Golden State deal, actually, the guys we got in that deal were pretty good. Wiggins and Davion Mitchell from Golden State.
And I love the play, by the way, at the end of the game. At least try to get the ball to the basket. Like, usually you see a guy panic with 4 seconds left and heave it up from midcourt. I love that.
He was going hard.
It was a good attempt.
And you give them credit on that play. You got a couple guys coming over that were really defending that play. They were going to block it.
Yeah.
They were like, he doesn't get up. He wasn't going to dunk it. They knew that. He was going to lay it up, and it was a great play. Great defensive play there at that point, for sure. So anyway, Woody, man, April 15th, and it's over. I mean, go get whatever they're throwing tonight. Then Panthers will be, don't they throw up sticks and pucks and stuff tonight? That's it. And I got to tell you,
that last game,
it's been a hell of a run, Panthers. It has been a hell of a run. No matter what, tonight is basically good night. Thank you, fans. You guys have been unbelievable. We're going to be back with the core of the same guys, and we're going to have Barkey with us leading the charge out here next time you see us. And here we go. But yeah, it's a weird one. Somebody would have told you before the year that the Heat were going to lose the first playoff game, play-in game as a 10 seed, and that the Panthers weren't going to make the playoffs at all. No matter who was injured, you didn't realize how injured they were going to be. That this was going to end up happening. So really, really disappointing. Both that been so good, and that 3-year run, man. Hey, I'll miss the playoffs this year. I'll miss it next year for the 3 years that we just got. Nobody's going to be complaining about going to Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row. Even, hey, we lost the first one. I was like, hey, man, that was fun. I don't care. And then we were banged up. Wait till we come back. And went back-to-back the way they did. Good stuff. Hey, we are not done. Alan Pupart, SI.com Dolphins, and the All Dolphins podcast. We're going to talk about some of the free agents they signed. They're trying to make a splash on this team. We're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about some of the guys from last year. How much are you counting on some of those guys that didn't necessarily play great last year with a new coaching staff here and a new front office? We'll get into all that with Alan Pupart when we come back.
The Joe Rose Show is presented by Loctite Windows, Doors, and Roofing.